release me from my winter hell. I've got candles and candy, I can be your daddy if you only let me creep into your prison cell. Hey baby, can you tell I'm not a criminal? Your choice is seminal. I want you to stay true to what's right for you. No matter who or know what will others say, just find your way and try to stay true. Just speak low, stand in your row, try not to show this life's a show. Try not to glow way down below. Oh, it's a lot of woe, and that's not a place where you would like to go. I've got cigarettes and brandy, which could come in handy if you just help me loosen up my hand grenades fuse. Baby, don't refuse my truth, but it's up to you now to choose. I want you to stay true to what's right for you. No matter who or know what will others say, just find your way and try to stay true. I want you to stay true to what's right for you. No matter who or know what will others say, just find your way and try to stay true, 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 true.
Hello, happy Sunday, you guys. I told you there'd be a pop up. I just had to wait for the right time. Okay. My daughter works um, every weekend except for one weekend of the month, which means I have the nuggie on the weekend. So I don't, I stream the trial and I have her during the week. And I'm, like I entertain her while I entertain you guys. Like I am got my hands full. She's never around. I want everybody to know that she never hears the trial, especially this trial, but any trial that I stream, she never hears it. Um, anyway, just to put your mind at ease. So, I had to figure out the right time. So I had her today and I did all my chores. I got all my laundry done, got the sheets washed, made dinner. And I was like, I wanted to go live, but I needed a nap. So I took a nap and then I made dinner and stuff. And now here we are. So if you if you followed this case and you know what a difficult case it's going to be just because of the circumstances. I mean, Athena Strand was 7 years old and she was murdered in the back of a FedEx truck. Like it's not going to be, it's going to be extraordinarily heavy. Anytime there's a murder, it's heavy, but when it's a child, it's extraordinarily heavy. So, and you just want a recap, um, this is the stream for you. And I'm going to do these every week because this is an incredibly heavy, heavy trial. Okay. I want to first make a little announcement before we start. So at the end of the day on Friday, Hannah told me that the judge had made a ruling regarding the audio from the FedEx truck. And I had to go and check for myself, and I did. The source came from Law and Crime, one of their producers, um, tweeted, well, I don't know what you do on X. I mean, whatever, wrote that the judge had decided that yes, the audio will be played, but it will only be played for the jury and I think people that are there in person. It will not be played or it will not be broadcast um, and streamed for the media. Okay. Which I have to say, that's the part I was really, really dreading. I was hoping that they would do the same thing, not play it, that this would be the decision they made because um, if you don't know, I don't know how you couldn't know. I mean, I talk about it like all the time, but the very first case I ever got into or followed really, um, and I've been following it since 2001. So, what, 25 years now, is the West Memphis 3 case. And along the way, I learned in that case that there is a certain subsection of subhuman, disgusting filth that would enjoy listening to something like this. And I'm going to leave it there. And so I'm glad they're not playing it like that. It should not be broadcast in this way. And I think that um, if it had been done that way, I think that it would have re-victimized Athena all over again because of those type of people. So they're not going to play it. Um, I just wanted to verify. I wanted to make sure that where the source came from, like Hannah told me, it came from Grizzly. Grizzly True Crime, you can trust. She is an incredible creator. She does, dots all of her I's, crosses all of her T's, make sure everything is, verified before she would put something out like that. But I still felt like, okay, let me just double verify. Okay, so I did. So now we know that that is not going to be what happens. Now I will say this: I don't beyond not playing it. I don't. I don't know how they're going to do it. Meaning, usually when something like that gets played, an interrogation video, a phone call, something something like that, body cam footage, there's usually a witness on the stand who authenticate, well, this won't happen that way, but ends up answering questions about it. Okay. And so, but I don't know if they'll, if I think that the audio and pretty much would speak for itself. So I don't know how that's going to work. And I don't know for scheduling how they're going to do it. All I know is for sure is that that portion is an hour long. So I don't know if they will wait until the end of the day, close the courtroom, and because the thing of it is, the prosecutor's putting on the prosecution's case. That's it. He doesn't, and he shouldn't be paying any never mind to the fact that this trial is streaming. Okay, like he's going to try his case the way he's going to try his case. So that shouldn't be a factor, but I don't know how they're going to do it. So whenever it happens, just know there'll be a break. I don't know what we'll do for live streaming. We'll just take a break for an hour or talk about, what we've heard up until then. And then whenever the testimony resumes, we'll resume. That's how we're going to do it. Okay. So I wanted to get that out of the way. I want to thank everybody for being here. Thank you guys so very much. I missed a milestone and I want to go back and acknowledge that really quickly because I don't want to be, that's rude. I mean, Pointer Lover, thank you, babe. Pointer Lover, 27 months of being a member. I appreciate that so much. Thank you for supporting me and the channel. Kelly celebrates 14 months of membership. Thank you so much. I appreciate that so much. Thank you for supporting me and the channel. It's good to see everybody here. If you're not familiar with this case, all right, this happened back in November of 2022 in a little town called Paradise, Texas. 7-year-old Athena Strand's stepmother reported her missing. There was an they all hands on deck. There was the FBI, there was the game warden, there was the Texas Rangers, was the local sheriff. All manner of law enforcement was out there looking for this little girl. There was helicopters were flying overhead searching. They came from the Fort Worth Police Department. And on top of that, there were everyday citizens, of course, Athena's family and friends were out searching. And on December 2nd, law enforcement, after following a number of leads and interviewing one person of interest who ultimately confessed, Tanner Horner, they located Athena Strand's body, okay, on December 2nd. There have been a number of motions since he got a trial date and all of the things. First of all, because of the circumstances and the fact that Athena is 7 years old, she's under 10, automatically this is a capital crime. Automatically he was charged with capital murder. Not every time when there's a capital murder case is there a capital punishment, but in this case there is. He is eligible for the death penalty. The defense worked very hard and wanted a change of venue, which they were granted. This happened in Wise County, Texas. The change of venue was granted, and they're trying the case in Tarrant County, Fort Worth. The jury selection for this case began in January of 2026. They sat a jury in February of 2026, and it's now, the trial started on April 7th. And we were all amazed, and not amazed, that's not the right word, shocked, because of the number of motions that the defense filed on behalf of their client, Tanner Horner. We were all very shocked that on the very first day of trial, Tanner elected to plead guilty. What that means in Texas is that the case then moves to the penalty phase. The jury is not determining whether he is guilty or not guilty. That's done. They will determine whether or not he gets the death penalty or life without the possibility of parole. That is it. That is all. There's no other possible potential punishments on the table. That's it. So that's where we're at now. Ordinarily, what we would have seen is maybe a week of testimony and evidence presented by the defense or by the state and then by the defense in the punishment phase. But I am personally of the belief that there's the reason that Tanner Horner pled guilty is because the defense very much wanted his interrogation videos, and there were multiple, suppressed, and citing that he did not understand his Miranda rights. And this was filed way early on, and the judge decided, like on the day of trial, those will be played. They will not be suppressed. They're admissible. So I think he decided, okay, well, I'm going to plead guilty, because after the interrogation videos and you know all of the things, that is on those, the guilt or not guilt is pretty cut and dry at that point. So all the defense can really do at this point is try to save his life. Now, their job, the defense's job, is to argue mitigating factors. So the mitigating factors, as they see it, are that Tanner's mom drank while she was pregnant with him, thus giving him, you know, some brain damage. He was diagnosed as a kid with, it's an antiquated term. They don't use it anymore, but at the time he was diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome. We know it now as high functioning autism. And the argument made by the defense really is that his life should be spared. Now, should the jury decide that he is eligible for the death penalty, he cannot directly appeal his conviction, but he can, and he will get this automatically. He will appeal the sentence, which would be the death penalty. Those appeals are automatic. And I want to tell you that I have a little bit of nervousness when it comes to that, because there is no precedent for executing a person on the spectrum. There's nothing. I know that the U.S. Constitution has ruled, or the U.S. Supreme Court has ruled, excuse me, that is unconstitutional to execute someone with an intellectual disability. But there's debate as to whether an autism diagnosis is an intellectual disability or not. So it's very possible that his case might be precedent setting. I don't know, though. I mean, that's my if when it gets to that point, when the jury is tasked with deliberation, I don't know what they'll decide. But the prosecutor in this case, ordinarily they would present the aggravating factors. Think of them as things that made this crime particularly heinous. Those are aggravating factors. Her age would be an aggravating factor. The manner in which he took her life, an aggravating factor. The fact that he kidnapped her, put her in the back of the FedEx van, aggravating factor. All of those things are aggravating factors. And usually that part of the sentencing phase isn't as long. However, this prosecutor, and I'm glad that he did this, is essentially putting on the trial. I think that part of the reason that Tanner pled guilty, another reason, was that he didn't want the whole entire world knowing just exactly what type of monster he is. I think, everybody assumed that he's a monster, because obviously that's a given. You take a 7-year-old's life, you're a monster. But I don't think he wanted the world to know just exactly what kind of monster he was. I don't think he wanted all of the details coming out in front of God and everybody. I think that's, what he was trying to avoid. And the prosecutor was like, not today, Satan. No. We're going to mention it all. And he has. That Ellen says, I have to be honest. I side-eyed the stepmom at first. Another case to remind me not to jump to conclusions. Well, a lot of people did. Side-eyeing a family member. There's a difference between a side-eye and a straight accusation. And statistically speaking, the younger the child, the smaller their circle. So the likelihood that it is a person that the child knows and is potentially a caregiver at 7 years old, statistically, it's a higher percentage than it would be a stranger abduction. The truth of the matter is, if you really look at it, and you can go to like the FBI, the Center for Missing and Exploited Children, there are a lot of statistics on this. And statistically speaking, children, the younger the child, the stranger abduction is rare. But it's so scary because you have no idea where to even start looking, that's why we have the Amber Alert. Also, because of Athena, there is now a law in Texas that it's similar to an Amber Alert, but you don't have to meet all of the strict criteria that you have to meet before an Amber Alert can be issued. So this is a way of getting out statewide to all law enforcement, to the media, to everybody, that there is a child missing in Texas, a child in danger. And so that has been passed in Athena's name because of this case. So there is that. Um, exactly, Kelly. Just like Stearns, just like Stephen Stearns. Absolutely, that's usually what happens. So let's start. We're going to start with day one. Okay. We're going to get the highlights of day one, day two, day three, and day four. Okay. And if you are, before we move from each day, I'll let you guys know in the chat. And if there is something that you think that I missed that should be included in the recap, let me know. And I'll try to find it because I wrote the timestamps down, but obviously, I'm not Spencer Reed. I don't have one of those, idemic memories. So I can't remember like every single thing that happened on every single day. So we're going to start with him pleading guilty. And then we're going to hear the opening statements. Quite frankly, I don't think that you need to hear the opening statements by the defense because they are basically everything that I said. His mom drank while she was pregnant, and and he's got high functioning autism. Personally, for me, it's not I'm going to need to see some type of report or an expert witness, and then I'm going to have to listen to that expert witness and decide what weight, if any, Dr. Dorothy Lewis. Unfortunately, we have to look at you, ma'am, because so sad that your last case was Letitia Stout, for real, because yikes on bikes. Because she was actually a really good forensic psychologist, and it's really a shame that was her last case. She had some really groundbreaking, pioneer, forward-thinking ideas, particularly about children and when they are in the system as far as criminals. So anyway, all right, here we go. Let's start. And also, I'm going to speed it up, but I have the closed captions on, but I'm just going to speed it up to 1.25. Nobody in here is like a super fast talker, so we should be good. Are we ready? All right, let's go. Oh, cripes. There we go.
May it please the court?
Yes, sir.
In the name and by authority of the state of Texas, the grand jury for the county of Wise, state of Texas, duly selected, impaneled, sworn, charged, and organized as such during the January term AD 2023 of the 271st Judicial District Court for said county, upon their oaths present in and to said court at said term, that Tanner Lynn Horner, hereinafter styled defendant, on or about the 30th day of November 2022, and before the presentment of this indictment in the county and state aforesaid, did then and there intentionally cause the death of an individual, Athena Strand, by strangling and or smothering and or asphyxiating Athena Strand with the defendant's hand, the defendant's foot, and or the defendant's body, and the defendant was in the course of committing or attempting to commit kidnapping of Athena Strand, and signed against the peace and dignity of the state by the foreperson of the grand jury.
Mr. Horner, to the charge of capital murder, you may plead guilty or not guilty. What is your plea?
Guilty, Your Honor.
Thank you. I will accept your plea. You may be seated. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, when a defendant pleads guilty to an offense, I have done admonishments to him outside of your presence and am satisfied that this guilty plea is given freely and voluntarily. So as we get into the trial, I will give you an instruction at the appropriate time for you to find him guilty. Okay? There will no longer be a first phase of the trial to where you will be determining whether or not guilt has been proved beyond a reasonable doubt. I will give you an instruction to find him guilty. So now your sole duty will be to listen to all of the evidence that is going to be presented to you, because you will be using that evidence to determine the proper punishment to be assessed. You will hear the evidence in the same manner, I anticipate, had Mr. Horner pled not guilty. You may use that evidence in your determination in answering the questions that we talked about to you in the individual jury selection interviews, okay? So I just wanted to let you know, you're going to hear the evidence, but you're only going to be dealing with punishment, all right? State wishes to make an opening statement.
We do, Your Honor.
Mr. Stanton.
Thank you.
All right, now, back when this happened in 2022, okay, we went over, and it's in the video that I did for the trial prep. I read the arrest affidavit, the warrant for his arrest, okay? All of us that followed this case were under the assumption, because that is what was in the arrest warrant, that Tanner Horner, and it's okay, that Tanner Horner hit Athena with his FedEx truck and then killed her because he was afraid of what her dad would do. Okay. And for all this long time, all of us have been have thought to ourselves, like, that doesn't make sense. We wondered if it was true. Also, there was a gag order. And I want you guys to know, because we can't get into each and every little detail, but if this is something that, if this case interests you, I will be streaming it every single day from 9:45 a.m. Central, 10:45 Eastern, 7:45 Pacific, 8:45 Mountain, every week, every day. So you can watch live with us. We're behind a little bit because the trial actually starts at 9 o'clock, but that gets us through each break and lunch. So there you go. But that's what we were all under. That's what we thought happened. Or, yeah. And the fact is, that's not a, and I watched somewhere else where there was sort of like a little, like a passive aggressive dig about, well, that's what we were told. Well, here's the thing. They didn't need any more than that. Grand jury indictments, anyways, they're secret. We don't know about that. But they couldn't seal the arrest warrant. So they had to be very, 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 very careful about what they put in that arrest warrant in order to protect the integrity of the case and the trial. And they did that. And they did a fantastic job. I could not be more proud to be a Texan at this moment. Okay, so let's get into it. Sorry, I just had to say that. But we're about to learn some things in this opening statement from the prosecution that had, on day one, that had our jaws on the floor.
Your Honor, I'm going to object showing evidence in opening statements.
That's overruled.
Little change of plans this morning. Welcome. Thank you all for being here. Sorry to keep you waiting. This is what this case is about, right here. You know, when I looked at this case, most lawyers, when they have these types of cases, they have kind of a theme of the case, something that sits with them, something that touches them here. And in this case, I looked at Paul in 2 Corinthians when he said, Satan masquerades as an angel of light. And that's what we have here. Let me tell you a little bit about what you're going to see today, what you're going to see over the next few weeks. We're going to present all the same evidence that you would have seen before in guilt, but that's going to expand it to include the punishment evidence as well. So you're going to get it all in one package. Okay. Let me tell you how this is going to begin. What we're going to start with first is we're going to introduce you to Athena, which is the most important thing, and that's the reason why we're here. So let me give you a little evidence here. Athena's last day. She was in school. She was in Miss Thompson's first grade class. She had a rough day that day, and you'll hear Miss Thompson talk about that. She's strong-willed, very precocious. She's 7. Miss Thompson's going to talk to you a little bit about that last day. and tell you what went on and why that's important. You've heard that name over and over, Athena Strand. Born May 23rd, 2015. It's sad that we have to talk about a child in the past tense, who she was, what she liked, who were her friends, who were her parents. It's sad that we have to have this discussion, but that's the evidence that we have to bring you. That's the evidence that's important. Now, in this particular case, I'll tell you a little bit about this picture. Athena had just gotten back from spending some time at her mom's house in Oklahoma. 4 days before she was murdered is when that picture was taken by her mother. Now, November 30th, 2022 is a Wednesday. Kids had just gotten back from Thanksgiving break. Any of y'all have ever been in school, you know that that's a bit of a chaotic time for a teacher. They just got back, and what are they looking forward to? Christmas, right? And who's arriving for Christmas? What I like to call the modern day Santa Claus. Amazon, right? FedEx, UPS, all of the people that we look forward to. And even us as adults, I know for me personally, I look forward to motorcycle parts. And I know my wife looks forward to things like essential oils and devotional books. I know those things. And like I said, that's why I refer to it as the modern day Santa Claus. And I was going to try to do this without my glasses, but it is not working. So here's the way this is going to happen. When Tanner Horner rolled up that day, he rolled up alone. He rolled up bringing what we thought would be joy and happiness and a package. And you're going to see the package, and you're going to see what he was bringing. Why wouldn't Athena be happy to see the FedEx guy, right? He's got a Walmart box. Well, that's not what he brought that day. What you're going to see is that he brought violence, fear, and death. That's what he brought with him. He did not bring with him the joy and happiness that the delivery drivers normally bring. So first off, I want to apologize to y'all for what we're going to have to bring you. The evidence in this case is rough. It is not what I want to show anyone, but it's what's required. It's what's required to show you what he did. And I want to apologize to you now. We're going to do our very best to limit it, to provide you what you need, but I'm the kind of DA, I'm going to bring you all the evidence, okay? And I feel like it's important you know the complete story. Now, we know a little bit now about Athena, and you're going to hear about her. What about Tanner Horner? Tanner Horner shows up, delivers a package, leaves with Athena. Now, I'm going to put you as close as you can be without actually being there that day. We have video of it, and we're going to show it to you. Now, you may be thinking, wow, maybe we have video of the whole thing. Nope. Somebody covered up the camera because they don't want you to see. Guess what? Audio's still running, and you're going to hear it. You're going to hear what a 250-pound man can do to a 67-pound child. And when I say it's horrible, I mean it. I've been doing this 25 years, and I promise you, buckle up. Now, the important part of this is, what's the truth? It's time to get to the truth. The only truthful thing that Tanner Horner told law enforcement was that he killed her. The pattern and web of lies that he put together, it's going to be hard for y'all to keep up with. It is lie upon lie upon lie upon lie. We have lies about what we did the day before. We have lies about what we did the day of. We have lies about where her body was. We have lies about whether or not she was clothed or not. We have lies and lies and lies. It is hard to keep up with. The only thing he told the truth about was he killed her. So you're going to hear multiple stories. None of them are true. What's the story that was told in the beginning? That he hit her with a truck. That he somehow freaked out because he thought he was going to lose his job or she was going to tell on him. He picked her up, still freaked out, and killed her. That is an absolute lie. There is no truth to that in any form or fashion. None. Zero, zip, not a notion. No truth to that whatsoever.
There you have it. That is what we learned. We also obviously learned about, he obviously knew that there were cameras inside that vehicle. And just in case they recorded things inside the video, inside the truck, he went and took stickers, FedEx stickers, and placed them over the camera. Now, he did tell investigators, and you guys can, I'm not going to play all of his interrogation because it's tedious to listen to like over again because it's so full of lies. But we are going to listen to parts of it, so don't worry about that. You'll get the main points of his interrogation videos, but the fact that none of this is true, he never hit her with that truck.
In fact, the first words out of Tanner Horner's mouth, whenever the ranger first encountered him, the ranger says, "Is she alive?" And he says, "She wasn't alive when I put her in the truck." I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to see right up front here, she was very much alive and very much uninjured when he put her in the truck. Let me tell you something that stuck with me here, what you're going to hear when we get to that video. First thing Tanner Horner says to Athena when he picks her up, puts her in that truck, he leans down and he says, "Don't scream or I'll hurt you." Says that twice. You're going to hear it. We're going to put it on screen for you. That's the first thing out of his mouth. He made good on it. Now, where do we go from there? Now, you're going to be able to hear it all on audio. But I'm going to tell you right now, the one thing you're going to hear that is something that you can't unhear is the level of fight that a 7-year-old girl has when she's facing down certain death. We talk about warriors in America. I'll tell you, that little girl right there is a warrior. She fought with the strength of 100 men. 3 days later, we catch up. 3 days later, they took us. What's Tanner Horner during all this time? Good question, right? What's he doing? He's delivering packages just like normal. Made it to work right on time. Made sure that he got the same FedEx truck so we could have his mobile crime scene with him the entire day. This is planning. This is preparation. He knew what was going on. He drove through the scene that day. He drove right through the scene that day. You're going to have video from his truck driving right through that scene, right where he kidnapped her, right where he took her away, and talking to people. What happened? What went on? What happened? In the same truck he killed her in. This is the level of cold-heartedness that you're going to see. Now, we finally get...
This is actually, and I'm not sure why he says this, because this is actually not correct. It's not accurate. There were 2 trucks. We learned this later. There were 2 trucks. There was the arrest truck, the truck that he was driving the day that he was arrested in, and the abduction truck, the truck where he actually abducted Athena and killed her in. I think what he's saying is more like he went to work and drove his truck and drove the route and went through, the area where people were looking for her and stuff like that, basically driving the same, not the exact same truck, but the FedEx truck. Hey, California Avocado. Jen Lou, have you ever seen so much evidence at a sentencing? No, but that's because typically we have a trial first in a case like this. Typically there's a trial first. And so we would see all of that evidence, but the prosecution has taken the step of he said it, he's going to present it all. We're going to get anything they would have presented at the guilty or not guilty part of it, and you're going to get the stuff and the evidence for sentencing. So usually no, but I'm glad he's doing this. And Psycho Cunt, thank you so much for being a member for 28 months. I appreciate it. Psycho Cunt says, Jen, I wanted to stop in and show support. Love you, girl. I can't with this case. My heart goes out to Athena's loved ones. I hear you. This is a tough case. This is an incredibly tough case. But I'll say this for me personally, and I'm not judging anybody. You all have to take care of you. You know what you can handle and you know what you can't. When I heard the opening statements about how much she fought, I was like, Jen, like with Gannon, if Athena endured it, you're going to listen to it. And that's what I decided to do. And I appreciate every one of you guys for being here and listening to it with me. This way I can talk to you guys about it. I can express disgust, disdain, sadness, all of it. So I appreciate that because I was going to watch this anyway. But I get it. It's a hard case. It's really, really hard. And I'm really, really glad we don't have to listen to that audio. And I'm very concerned for the jurors that do. Like what's going to happen. I hope there's some type of therapy available to them after the fact. I don't know if Texas does that. I'll look it up in a little bit.
We finally locate her. And how do we locate her? Hundreds and hundreds of law enforcement personnel. Canines, dogs, thermal imaging. The ranger had helicopters moving 24/7 looking for her, searching for her, all believing that they were going to find her alive. Where did we find her? We found her at a place called Bobo Crossing. Now, I grew up in Wise County, and I lived not too far away from where her body was dumped. And I had no idea why they call it Bobo Crossing. I haven't found anybody who knows why they call it Bobo Crossing, but that's what they call it. It's probably got a county road number, but nobody knows what it is. People just know what this is. It's a little bit south of Boyd, off of Highway 730. We'll show you some maps. But that's where we found her. We found her where he pitched her off naked in the water. That's where we found her. How did we get to that point? Well, it wasn't without a lot of hard work by the FBI, Texas Rangers, Wise County Sheriff, deputies. We finally locate her. But how did we get to locate her? Well, Tanner Horner made it as difficult as possible to locate her. Again, with more lies upon lies upon lies. Where's her body? Where's her body? It's over here. It's over here. So on and so forth. It's just too much to keep up with, to be honest with you. So many lies. But we find her body. And throughout this whole time when we're looking for the body, when we ask people what happened, sometimes they take responsibility. Not this guy. Every part of that, even before we found her body, is woe is me. Worried about what's going to happen to me. Worried about why I'm not going to see my kid again. Worried about me. Selfish. We haven't even found her body yet. And he's worried about that. But he's so concerned about diverting law enforcement from what's going on. So concerned from diverting law enforcement from deciphering just simply where her body is, that he conjures a whole other persona out of thin air. And all the ranger had to do is look over at him and say, hey, I want to talk to the other guy. Okay, we'll talk to the other guy, and we'll tell you what happened. But that other guy lies as much as it was before.
Okay, so I looked it up. And yes, Texas law allows counties to provide counseling to grand jurors, which I'm sure that the grand jury had to listen to that audio too, and trial jurors who experience trauma from graphic evidence, though it is not mandatory or state funded. Texas Code of Criminal Procedure Article 56A.205 permits these services, which are sometimes facilitated by victims assistance coordinators in certain counties. Availability. Counsel is not university. Geez, Jen. Availability. Counseling is not universal. It is at the discretion of local county commissioners to approve and fund such programs. So let's see. We have to look for Wise County because that's where it's at. There we go. Okay, based on available resources, Wise County does not explicitly list dedicated on-site counseling services for jurors on their official jury information pages. However, Texas law allows for it in specific cases. So we'll see. Hopefully they will be allowed. Because I have to look for Wise County because Wise County is who ultimately, even though the jury pool came from Tarrant County. The case is out of Wise County, and I think Wise County would ultimately be the one responsible.
And that's the problem with all of this. We finally find her body, and here's what you're going to see once we find her body. Now, this is where we start getting into punishment. Obviously, the judge has already talked to you about, at some point, he's going to instruct you to find him guilty in that particular case. We're going to talk to you a little bit about punishment. Now, I hadn't planned on talking about this. Change of events. Got to switch gears. What does punishment look like? Well, we have DNA. Not only do we have initial DNA from Athena that has Tanner Horner's DNA under her fingernails, we also have DNA, Tanner Horner's DNA, in places where you shouldn't find DNA on a 7-year-old girl.
All right, so obviously that was incredibly hard to hear. Now, you might be asking yourself, why is Tanner Horner not charged with, after hearing that Tanner Horner's DNA was found in places on Athena's body where you should never find a grown man's DNA, right? Why was he not charged? And this came up a lot all on day one. And I'm going to say it like this. This is the best way I know how to say it. I do think that I think Horner's entire intent was to assault that child. I just don't think that he was able to assault her in the way that he maybe initially intended. But she was assaulted, make no mistake. I think that the prosecution decided to go with the strongest evidence as far as charging him. Evidence that they could prove beyond a reasonable doubt. Obviously, they had no idea that on day one of trial, after all these years, right, that and legal back and forth, that he would plead guilty on day one of the trial. So that's where I'll leave it there. You're right, Amber. It doesn't always mean that. You're right. Donna, we're, as the public, we're not going to hear that audio. So we're not going to know what happened and when it happened. So we're not going to know. And I'm okay not knowing. I think they have done enough. Okay. So now we're going to skip ahead to where the FBI agent takes the stand. Okay. No, we're not. Where's this at? Oh yeah, we are. Okay, hold. No, we're going to skip ahead to, okay, this is her stepmother taking the stand. And I mean, it messed her up. They made her identify the pants. But the biggest revelation is this picture right here. Now, this is the saddest picture I've ever seen in my entire life for many, many reasons. One, because we know that she's not going to survive much longer after. Hang on a minute. Hold on a minute. I just now noticed this timestamp. 23:42:48. That's like 11 o'clock, is it not? And if the timestamp is wrong, because it didn't account for daylight savings time, which would have been in effect on the 30th of November. Then we roll it back 1 hour and it would be 22, 42, 48, right? So wouldn't that be 10? Am I wrong? I didn't notice this before, you guys. I'm sorry that I'm stuck on this. Minus 6 hours, you said? All right, minus 6 hours. So 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17. That can't be right either. It can't be 5 o'clock because she wasn't even, maybe it is 5 o'clock. You know, I've looked at this picture a few times and I can't, it's so grainy and hard to see her, and it's a still. Like he's clearly talking here and she looks like she's about to say something, or maybe I don't know, but it's obviously a video. So it's a screenshot of a video. So we can't, what's very, very clear here is that she was absolutely, positively, without a doubt, hit by a vehicle. She's not injured at all. Hey, Rachel, thank you for becoming a member. I appreciate that so much. Welcome to the ward. Thank you so much. So 5 to 6 hours earlier, that can't be right either. Because if it's 23:42, that is 11 o'clock. Minus 5, well, I guess that could be right. Getting close to 6. Getting close to 6. Okay. So this was one of the, aside from the opening statements where we learned about DNA and other things, and that there was audio and it was an hour long, and that he weighed 250 pounds and she weighed 67 pounds and all of that. This was the next most shocking piece of evidence, because obviously, and this is another good point too, Amber says, we don't know at what point in the video the screen grab is. That's right. I mean, there's a lot of things we don't know yet. We know that the murder took an hour. That's what he said. That's how I understood it from the opening statements, is that it took an hour, whatever, but he did drive somewhere first. So it's quite possible. We just don't know. We don't know how long he had her, is what I'm trying to say. And I didn't catch that the first time. Okay. So this was a really, this was one of those pieces of evidence that you will only get when you watch a trial. And this is why I encourage people, when you start to follow a missing persons case, if the trial is streamed, watch it so that you can see the investigation. For example, like with Quentin Simon, a lot of people, not me, I didn't feel this way, but there were people that felt this way. There were people that wanted to know why Leilani hadn't been arrested, what was taking them so long. Well, at her trial, we learned just exactly what a painstaking process it was to locate little Quentin Simon in that landfill. So, the trial is where you're going to get answers to the questions that you have, especially about the investigation, because that's some of the first evidence that they put on, is the investigation. So I would encourage anybody that is interested in trials or interested in a case to watch the trial. Okay, so the next point we're going to go to on day one is when the FBI agent testifies. Because I think he had some very interesting things to say. Hold on just a sec. All right. We'll put it right here just for context. All right, here we go.
Threw up, and then continued to a Love's, threw up again before continuing back to the FedEx location.
And with regard to this location where the Athena Strand went missing.
Okay, so Neat asks, I wonder if the package he left at her house was the last one he delivered. I hope someone from FedEx testifies about his stops. I think that the this FBI agent is going to testify a little bit about it, but I agree with you, Nate. I would like to get, I want to, if we can possibly, I would like to get a minute by minute timeline of of his whereabouts. And also Dynamite, not to mention Letitia, man, oh man, it was incredible learning what was actually happening with law enforcement. Yes, it was. And then when it came time for her trial, remember, we knew there was blunt force trauma. We knew that there was a gunshot wound. We knew that there was stabbing. What we did not know is in what order all of that happened. And when we did learn it, we were all shocked that the blunt trauma to the head was the last thing that happened because it was so substantial that he would not have been able to fight back against the stabbing, and he did. He had defensive wounds on his little hands. So that's why I'm saying, it's important to, to follow these trials. And Amber I do remember this as well. Ranger Espinoza said it was his last delivery, but he skipped his last 5, but delivered them first thing the next morning. That's right. I remember that now. All right, here we go.
The night before, did he give you any information about whether or not that was the last package that he delivered that day or something else?
Yes, sir. That was the last package that he had delivered that day.
And he admitted that to you at that time, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So how Tanner Horner even got on their radar is, let me see where our timestamp is so I can remember this. 5/12/50. Let me go back because I want you guys to see. Is it here? Hold on. It might be after this. Look at her, beautiful little girl. There's the Walmart package. All right, there's that. I think there's a better view of the home. Hold on a minute. Right here. Okay, so over here is where the Walmart box package was dropped off. This is a mobile home that was on the Strand property, but it was abandoned. But I mean, looking at it, although if there's a piece of fence in the middle of the driveway, one would wonder how this, I guess this is what I think. Okay, this is how they caught up to him anyway. When he put that Walmart package at that abandoned mobile home, okay, um, he 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 did not mark it delivered in the system. So Athena's stepmom, who is the one who ordered this package from Walmart, she had tracking available so that she would be notified when the package was delivered. She was never notified. It was through when they were looking for Athena, when they were walking all around the property looking for her. That's when this package was spotted. Okay. And so they backtracked. That's how they found who was the delivery person. And initially, when this officer spoke to Tanner Horner after backtracking it, he thought what he had was a witness. And what Tanner did was he lied to the FBI agent and told him that he was nervous about dropping the package off, delivering that package because the home was run down and it was kind of sketchy, and and that he had seen a dark green minivan pull out of the driveway. So they're in the middle of looking. They have not found her. This is their, they've just started on the package. That was their first lead. They thought that he was a witness, maybe. So they speak to him, and he sends them on this wild goose chase, looking all over Hell's Half Acre for this green minivan. Okay. And he's going to get into it a little bit, but he does a follow-up with Tanner. The FBI agent does a follow-up with Tanner because at first it was a phone call. Then he's like, I need to meet you in person. So he meets him in person. That's where he's delivering the other packages. So he meets him in person because Tanner had some time discrepancies about where he was and what he was doing and when. Oh my gosh, Neat, did I miss your birthday? Happy birthday, babe. At the end, I will serenade you, of course. But we're going to get into that. Did I miss your birthday too, Neat? I must have. I'm so sorry, Neat. I'm horrible. And Neat is such a great mod. She really is. She shows up for every one of my shows. Every one.
Threw up, and then continued to a Love's, threw up again before continuing back to the FedEx location.
And with regard to this location where the Athena Strand went missing the night before, did he give you any information about whether or not that was the last package that he delivered that day or something else?
Yes, sir. That was the last package that he had delivered that day.
And he admitted that to you at that time, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Did that pique your interest even further?
Yes, sir. On the information we obtained from FedEx, that was the last package he had delivered that was not marked as delivered in the FedEx system. And then after that, he had another approximately 4 or 5 packages that he was supposed to deliver after the one to the Strand household and did not deliver them.
So, but he's telling you that's because he got sick, is that right?
Yes, sir.
All right. So you go and you meet with him during those conversations. Did you set up a place where you could meet again?
Yes, sir. He advised us where he was on the package delivery route and an address to meet him at.
And prior to court, did you see a screenshot of you as you're approaching him during that?
Yes, sir.
May I approach, Ron?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to show you what I've marked as State's Exhibit number 32. Do you recognize that?
Yes, sir.
And is that the screenshot that shows both you and Mr. Horner at the time of the second meeting?
Yes, sir.
I'll offer into evidence State's Exhibit 32.
This is the FBI agent. Oh gosh. What is his name? No, I don't remember. Hold on. Where are we at now? 5/14/07. Let me go all the way back because he gets introduced to the judge. All right, here we go. Let me see.
But the true self of God.
Yes, Judge.
Have a seat right here. Rule of evidence is in effect, says you cannot be in court unless you're testifying, and once you have testified, do not discuss your testimony with anybody else except the lawyers, okay?
Yes, Judge.
Mr. Berry.
Thank you, Your Honor. Special Agent McGuire, would you please?
Special Agent McGuire. I could not think of his name for whatever reason. He's with the FBI. All right. Now, back here. All right, here we go. Special Agent McGuire.
Okay. State's 32, isn't it?
May I publish, Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Y'all, it's not Neat's birthday. It's not Neat's birthday, but thanks. We will have to figure out. I'm going to find out Neat's birthday, and we will be celebrating her to the fullest. Amber said the messed up part is he probably would have gotten away with it a lot longer had he not left the package. I remember when it happened, we were shook that it was the delivery guy. Absolutely. And here's the other thing. I suspect that the dropping of the package was accidental. I think that more than likely it was probably a lure just to get Athena close enough to grab her. I think that he intended to, I think he dropped it. I think he intended to pick it back up and take it with him, because otherwise, why leave it there but not marked in the FedEx system as having been delivered? I think it was a lure. And I think it was one of those situations where he messed up, but it's that mess up that got him caught up. And I'm very glad for that. All right. So here's where Special Agent McGuire approaches him, and look, he doesn't even look like he's not even dressed as he doesn't look very special agenty there, which I think that was obviously intentional. It's not like he went out in his suit and tie, but he made Tanner so nervous he dropped his package, if I remember correctly. We'll keep listening.
And this person walking up here, who's that?
That's me,
And who's the person with their arm up?
Mr. Horner.
Okay. And are you familiar with something called UTC time?
Yes, sir.
And what is UTC time?
That's just the standard time a lot of video devices and basic electronics will use as a standard time.
Okay. And is it sort of like, I always heard Greenwich Mean Time. Is it something like that?
Yes, sir.
And so when you measure other time zones, do you measure them by UTC plus a certain number of hours or UTC minus a certain number of hours?
Yes, sir, based where you are in the world.
Okay. In Paradise, Texas, or Cottondale, Texas, you can turn that back on, Deputy King, thank you. Paradise, Texas, at that time of the year, what was the calculation? Is it 6 hours difference?
Yes, sir. At that time of year, it would be UTC or GMT -6 to make Central Time.
Okay, so then,
Okay,
looking
so
at the
now,
time frames that you
so now the screenshot from the delivery truck makes a little bit more sense.
were there, this number here, 21:45:01, if you subtracted 6 from 21, that makes 15, correct?
Yes, sir.
And that would mean that would be 3:15 is on military time. What time of day is that?
That would be 3:45 p.m.
Okay. And is that time consistent with the time that you remember meeting with Mr. Horner the second time?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, with regard to this meeting, tell me just in your own words, describe what took place here.
We initially spoke about the time discrepancy again, and basically told him that what we spoke about on the phone, we learned now to not be true. And then we further asked him about the green van that he had initially told us during the first interview.
And did you do something more than just ask him about it with regard to the green van?
Yes, sir. I Googled and found a picture of a older green Chevy Astro van.
And what did you do with that?
I showed Mr. Horner my phone and asked him if the vehicle on the screen matched what he saw in the driveway the day before.
And what was his response?
He stated that vehicle is very similar to the one from the driveway.
And can I approach you?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit number 33 and ask you to recognize that.
Yes, sir. That's a screenshot of the picture in the Google search that I showed Mr. Horner.
And this is the one that he said, yes, it looks like that.
Yes, sir.
I'll offer State's Exhibit number 33 to evidence this time.
No objection.
State's Exhibit 33 is admitted.
And again, based upon that information, was there, I don't know if you call it APB with regard to, what do you call it when you're looking for a particular type of vehicles?
We usually call it a BOL, or be on the lookout.
And was that done with regard to this type of a van that might have been spotted within the area?
Yes, sir. That information was passed to the command post, and further investigative hours were spent looking for that van.
So, at the end of this meeting with Mr. Horner, kind of tell us how it went down as far as you're meeting with him, you get this information, and then what happens?
After we finished the contact with them, we walked back to our vehicle and then went back to the command post.
Okay. As you're sitting in your vehicle, getting ready to go back to the command post, did you watch Mr. Horner exit the location where he was currently at?
Yes, sir. Mr. Horner, in the FedEx van, backed out of the driveway, across the road, and then struck a tree on the other side of the road.
And what did he do as a result of that?
Mr. Horner exited the driver's seat, looked at the rear of the truck, and then got back into the vehicle and left.
Did you find that odd, given what you just talked about?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did he seem to be paying close attention to what he was doing at that point?
No, sir.
Now, with regard to other things that you did in this investigation to try to find Athena Strand, can you kind of just give us a brief synopsis of those things?
So after we did the second interview, we went back to the command post, and then that was when we were tasked with interviewing further family members.
Now, based upon your conversations with Mr. Drescher and Mr. Davis, were they trying to obtain some more potential evidence as to what might have happened?
Objection, here's that.
Sustained.
Did you ask them to obtain some more evidence?
Yes, sir. Later on the 1st and early into the 2nd of December, we obtained further information from FedEx.
Go ahead. You may answer.
We obtained from FedEx further information of Mr. Horner's delivery route on the 30th and on the 1st.
Was there some indication that there might be video in this van?
Yes, sir. We were also advised that all the vans were equipped with a dash cam.
And did you ask them to try to obtain that video information from the vehicle that Tanner Horner had been driving on November 30th, 2022?
Yes, sir.
Now, was that able to be done on the 1st?
No, sir.
But on the 2nd, did you receive video from that van?
Yes, sir. During the afternoon of the 2nd, we obtained video from Velociter, which is the company that runs the dash cams.
Now, were they able to give you a full video of the entire event?
At the time, during the afternoon of the 2nd, no, sir. The first video we obtained was basically a phone recording of a screen of the dash cam.
Did you see something on that piqued your interest?
Yes, sir. It was a phone screen recording of a video of Mr. Horner placing a small girl into the back of his FedEx van.
And was the time on that video consistent with the time that Athena Strand went missing?
Yes, sir, as far as I recall.
Now, at approximately the same time, based upon other information that you had already obtained with regard to the routes and those sort of things, was there action being taken to try to detain Mr. Horner?
Yes, sir. At the same time that we obtained that video, myself and Agent Hogan were doing surveillance on Mr. Horner during his route on the 2nd.
So, for a little while on the 1st, you were diverted to speak to family.
Okay, so now we're up to, they have, so FedEx or the trucks, because this is not FedEx, it's a third party, it's a contractor for FedEx called Big Top Spin, okay? They are a contractor of FedEx, but the company that operates and handles the camera system in the trucks, Velociter, showed them some things, but it was a phone recording it. Here's the thing. There is proprietary software that Velociter uses to watch those videos. So we're going to get into it on day 2, but that's where we're at now. They see him grab Athena and put her in the back of that FedEx truck. Now we're going to move to day 2. So keeping that in mind, okay? All right. Hold on a second. Let me switch. Okay. Now, this is Agent Espinoza. This is Game Warden Espinoza. He has a brother, Job Espinoza. Job Espinoza is his older brother. He is the one that is the affiant. No, is he the affiant? I'm trying to remember. He's mentioned in the arrest warrant for Tanner Horner, but I'm pretty sure he's the affiant. He's the one that applied for it. He is a Texas Ranger, okay? And this officer, the game warden, is tasked with, they tell the game warden where Tanner Horner's route is, and he is the one who stops Tanner, and you're going to see that, okay? All right, here we go.
That's previously been provided to the defense discovery.
Any objections other than those previously tendered to the court?
No, Your Honor.
Those objections remain overruled and State's Exhibit 34 is admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, may I publish the video?
Yes, ma'am.
We do stand the Espinosa brothers. Okay, let me just say this right here and right now. Okay, you all know how much great affection I have for Robert Alessi, right? The lawyer from the Karen Reed, the defense attorney. The Espinosa brothers, right there with Mr. Alessi. Okay, that's, yes, solid, good-hearted Texas men, absolutely. And yes, Coffee and Skeletons, this case has severely affected this gentleman. It severely affected every single law enforcement person, not just officers themselves, not just the ones investigating this case, but I think prosecution, everybody has been affected by this case. Like, they're not going to forget it ever. Oh, hold on. Before we get to the serious business, Neat, on your birthday, gifted a membership, and it went, thank you, babe. I appreciate that. Hold on. And Amber got it. Welcome to the ward. Thank you, Neat. On your birthday, gifted memberships. You are the absolute best. All right, here we go.
Josh, this one knows. I'm going to ask you one quick question while there's no sound. Can you explain why there is no sound right now?
So the reason there's no sound is when the body camera is on, it has a 2-minute pre-record where it records only video, no audio, but once you hit record, it actually picks up the audio as well.
And so right now what we're seeing is you driving, and I guess, what is that you're looking at?
That is my cell phone. I'm using Google Maps to find the location.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so just to recap and refresh the chat's recollection, we have moved from November 30th, which is the day that Athena went missing, through December 1st. We are now on December 2nd. Everything happens on this day, okay? Brace yourselves, it's going to abruptly start recording. You're going to hear noise. I'm going to try to talk until it does it. so that it's not so jarring, because all of us, when we watch there it goes. Everybody got scared.
That's it right there. Step out. Step out. Step out. Step out. Keep your hands up. Step out. Turn around. Turn around. Turn around. Face away from me. Face away from me. I smell marijuana. You got a firearm on you, baby? That's what we got? What is this? What you got in your pocket? Keys? Anybody got a random subject that's what's in for? Tanner? Yes, sir. Okay. All right. Yes, sir.
All right, so now Josh, game warden Josh Espinosa, is going to call his big brother, Ranger Job Espinosa, and Ranger Espinosa forgot his body cam. So what ends up happening is game warden Espinosa gives his brother his body cam, okay? And then they go on to record it. So at this point, he's not under arrest. He's merely detained, okay? Mind you, he smelled like mota. Okay. So then they confiscate the truck. They have already located, now they've located this is what they're going to call later on in the trial, the arrest truck. They've already located the abduction truck. Okay. So at this point, they know that he did not hit her with the vehicle, because they've got some footage from that abduction van. They know that he did not hit her with that van, and they know that they watched him grab her and put her up in that FedEx truck. Okay, so that's what they know. It's about 3:00 in the afternoon on December 2nd. So the next witness is going to be Ranger Job Espinosa. Okay, and what's going to happen with Mr. Espinosa is Ranger Espinosa is he was basically the lead investigator. Okay, and he already knew some things going into the interrogation room. But here is where he comes in at as far as body cam footage right here.
objections remain overruled if State's Exhibits 35 is admitted.
I'm ready. Let me publish, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Just really quick, because I see what's going on in the chat here. Coffee and Neat Noodle told Coffee and Skeletons, I'm a Sagittarius. Coffee and Skeletons, take note. This means, okay, we can begin wishing Neat Noodle happy birthday every day from November 22nd until December 21st. One of those days has to be the right day. We're going to figure it out, okay? All right, let's keep going. All right, now look, Kelly said, Professor Bindi, I apologize for disrupting the class. I'll give myself a check mark, remove the answer in my pants, and I'll settle down. Don't make me pull your card. Do you want to be on yellow? Because that's how you get on yellow. Hey, Music City Mom, good to see you. Look, we have to have these little distractions because this is so heavy and we need it, okay? So it's fine. Nobody's in trouble. Nobody's card is getting pulled. The whole class is still on green. Nobody's name is on the board or anything like that. All right, here we go. I think this is when we see the exchange. Yeah. He's going to give it to his brother.
Sure, brother. Tanner. Listen, where's she at? No BS, where's she at? That's the most important thing right now. Come on. Where's she at? I can show you, I don't know what the rest called. She left? She was gonna laugh like her. Okay. Listen, let's start right up there, okay? Let's go on right now.
Okay. Now, you might be wondering, how would he just walk up to that truck like that, and ask him that question without reading him his Miranda rights? Let me tell you how, okay? These are exigent circumstances. If an officer believes that a person is, well, not believes. If an officer investigating a missing person is trying to protect life, then the Miranda does not apply. He can ask that question. Tanner is going to try to get into all the, details and whatnot. You know, that's why he answered, well, she wasn't alive when I put her in that truck, which we know is a lie, right? Because they have the video evidence. The officer knows it's a lie. All he cares about, all of the officers who are driving, flying all over Hell's Half Acre looking for her care about is they wanted to bring her home. Obviously, ideally they want to bring her home alive. Okay? But these are exigent circumstances, and so that is why the Miranda does not apply. And after this officer is after Ranger Espinoza is done on direct, the defense is going to take a crack at him or cross-examine him. And look, I'm going to tell you guys, if you decide you want to go back and catch up on some of this that I can't get to all tonight, I'm going to tell you right now, the female Miss Anderson, attorney for the defense, I understand that she has a job to do. It is her job to advocate for her client. He is facing capital punishment, which is the death penalty in the state of Texas. In the state of Texas, on average, except for if you're Darlie Routier, people, even when they get automatic appeals, spend an average of 11, to 12 years on death row before getting their execution date. Darlie Routier is a little different. There's a few of them that there have been there's issues that occurred during the trial. Also, if there's a direct during a direct appeal where there's an actual innocence claim, and like there's DNA testing that's available now that wasn't available then, blah blah blah. Okay, but on average, it's pretty quick. Okay, it's her job. I get it. It's her job. It's not about her advocating for her client. It is about the tone in which she does it. She has a very stank tone. She's very rude, and I don't care for it. Because I don't have the same issue with her co-counsel at all. He doesn't speak that way, but she does, and it irritates me to no end. All right, here we go.
TV passenger side. Focus. All right, brother. Can we get
Now, we're going to watch just a little bit of this because it's several hours later. Okay. He is going to, this is why Ranger Espinoza says, we'll worry about the rest later. Just tell me how to get there. So basically what's going to happen from here is he's going to lead him to this, what they refer to it as a bamboo field. It is a field of bamboo. Okay. She is not there. So then they are going to drive after he, has them driving around all over Hell's Half Acre, looking in bamboo fields, right? Ranger Espinoza drives with Tanner back to the Wise County Sheriff's Department, and they give him an interrogation. Okay. He then pulls, brace yourselves, a very Letitia-esque maneuver. Okay. He has an alter personality named Zero. Okay. It's as ridiculous as it sounds. This is what he tried to pull. So when Tanner is speaking, we are watching, where'd it go? This. When Zero is speaking, we are watching. Okay. So that is what he tries to pull. It came up in the chat on the day that we watched this, which was day 2. Okay. But then it fit, because then he starts saying things during his why am I yelling? I'm sorry. Because then he starts saying things during his interrogation that are very, I watch Split, and so I'm going to try to pull some bullshit. Okay. And I'm going to spare you guys all of that. What we're going to do now is we're going to skip forward to the part where he, officer, why do I keep wanting to say that? I got it right all day on day 2, but for whatever reason today my brain's like, So now we're going to skip forward to that evening, the evening of December 2nd. Okay. While the discovery was captured on body cam, the camera operator pans away, so we're not going to see it. Okay. But after hours and hours of nothing but bullshit and lies, Ranger Espinoza asks to speak to Zero. And that's when he divulges. But I want you guys to, we're going to watch where they're waiting outside. And then they're going to go drive around the damn, Hell's Half Acre again. And then he's finally going to come clean. All right. And they've let him smoke. I just wanted you guys to watch this because I think that the Rangers and the officers, all the law enforcement in this that were involved in this case, really, especially the guys that were in charge of speaking to Tanner, did such a tremendous job. As this is happening now, currently on December 2nd, okay? Earlier in the day when they apprehended him, when they detained him, okay, at the same time, other law enforcement was making entry and serving a warrant on the house that Tanner lived in. So Tanner lived on a property that with a main house and his mother and his mother and his grandmother lived in. And then behind that main house was a shed that Tanner and his girlfriend and the mother of his child lived in. Okay, so they hit both places simultaneously. All right. As that's happening, okay, the CSI from the FBI is collecting evidence out at Horner's residence. They're photographing it, and they're in constant communication with Ranger Espinosa. So they know so Ranger Espinosa is being updated in real time about what's being found or not found or whatever at Tanner Horner's residence. Okay. So I want you guys to see this because there are things that the Rangers know that he's lying about. Okay. But watch how they handle him. And I think that they did such a tremendous job because I'm telling you, this is why I can't be law enforcement. All right. Let me tell you how many times Tanner Horner would have tripped on the way out to that vehicle. Okay. The whole way. Like I know that I don't have the restraint required to be law enforcement when it comes to people like this. Okay. I just couldn't do it. I know this about myself. It was an absolute masterclass. Now, I would do good with interviewing people like Stephen McDaniel. I could totally do that. I could handle Chandler Halderson, Corey Richins, Sarah Boone. Totes do it, but not this. And the thing about it is, it's not like you can be like, I would like to apply for a detective, but let me just say this. If there's a case involving children, I ain't your girl. I'd like to pick and choose the cases where I think I would be best suited. It doesn't work like that. So you got to, that's why I can't be law enforcement. All right, so I want you guys to watch this because I think it's important how they handle him.
Sorry. Oh, thank you. You're welcome. Take care. Well, just want to finish, or you have to get out and do it. Me and one of the managers.
I mean, what's getting hurt really? It's a metal truck. I mean, are these fabric or are they vinyl?
I think of me, I was vaping there for a little bit, but then I got sick with COVID like 2 weeks ago. And I switched back to smoking because I didn't need all the fluid on my lungs, because a friend of mine had like serious lung damage because he was vaping while he was sick.
Yeah.
That kind of stuck with me, so kind of.
Well, they said there's more chemicals in vape stuff than nicotine. I mean, there's a lot of chemicals in nicotine, but they say it's like double what's in vape or vapes.
Well, with the vapes, really all it is vegetable glycerin, some nicotine, and flip.
It smells good sometimes.
Like the juice I vape one is maple syrup flavored.
Ah.
It makes me crave pancakes.
Smell of syrup makes me crave pancakes and waffles. Man, find a good waffle, that's hard.
Well, I go to the city a lot. Waffle House is always a good thing.
They're chocolate chip pancake waffles. They don't overdo the chocolate chips. So I used to get like a grilled chicken sandwich and a chocolate chip pancake waffle. That was good stuff right there.
See, I get the chocolate chip pancake waffle, but I also get an omelet and like 2 sides of hash browns.
Woo. I knew.
Cheesy hash browns, greatest thing.
Oh, cheese and with onions. And sometimes capped. Little
I
mushroom.
can only have the onions if they're like caramelized, otherwise I'm like,
Too much freshness. Well, aren't you? I got you.
kind of puzzles.
I didn't used to eat onions until I got about 30 years old. And I started realizing I like the taste of onions, especially purple onions.
Surprisingly though, they're actually not called purple onions, it's called red onions. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, I know.
It's definitely.
I still call them by what I see. I'm just that way. Yeah, talking about Waffle House making me hungry. I'm a big boy.
Okay.
Somebody was talking about a patty melt earlier, and I'm like,
Whataburger? Oh.
yeah, Whataburger patty melt. I was like, what? Whataburger patty melt, some fries, and that strawberry shake.
Have you tried the Dr. Pepper shake?
Not too much of a fan, honestly. I like Dr. Pepper. Yeah.
See, I don't like regular Dr. Pepper, but I will drink the Dr. Pepper shake.
I mean, I like Dr. Pepper, but their shake just doesn't seem quite right to me for some reason. So, I don't know if it's just me or what. Oh man, I'm just thanking the Lord it's not 30 degrees right now. It's crazy though. Goes from 28 degrees to...
My conversations with God right now are a little bit different.
I do understand. This is not a great situation. I appreciate you being honest with us. So,
What happens if I get an attorney?
you get an attorney right now? I mean, that's your choice, your legal right.
And I
But
don't know what happens.
you're still going to go through the process of going to jail, you're still going to do all that. So, I'd like you to be honest with us and finish this out. I mean,
But I've told you guys pretty much everything at this point.
oh, I know you have.
I was gonna grab the cigarettes and like light up another one.
Did you stick them in his pocket? You sure did. That dirty dog. Oh, I'm sorry. That dirty dog. It's not down here.
What a letter on.
Oh, you good. We got trustees that, you can toss it down and swap it out. Because we got trustees that come out here and clean up, and they'll find it and they'll take care of it. Because
So it still doesn't feel right. Like,
I understand. So,
you know, the last time I was in handcuffs was like 4 years ago. First suicide, that was.
All right. Now, the defense team is going to do what their job is in this situation, and they're going to ask about this specific part of the conversation where he asks, and he does ask a couple of times, what will happen if I get an attorney right now? Okay, that's not how you ask for an attorney. Okay, just in case any of you guys ever find yourself in a situation where you're at the cop shop and you are not a witness, you're a suspect, or you're being interrogated for whatever reason, the proper way to ask for an attorney is this. Hold on. I'd like to stop this interview and speak to an attorney right now. I don't want to answer any more questions. That's how you ask for an attorney. Okay. So this is going to go on for a good while. Okay. He's going to drive them all around back to the bamboo. They're going to get out. They're going to look around. They're not going to find the bamboo, or they're not going to find her in the bamboo because that's not where she is. And then Ranger Espinoza asks to speak to Zero.
$20 billion.
American dollars. Money your money. 20 billion of it. Yeah. And when they ask about it, they're like, yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So,
Now, who made the money?
And you can hear overhead our helicopters flying. All right. That's from the Fort Worth Police Department. They're out there looking too. He's got everybody looking everywhere but where she is. All right. Trying to find the right part. I think they're still at the bamboo right here. Hold on. I might have just went too far. Hold on. Here we go. It's right here.
114 until I get to 7. Who made the money?
Ugh, we're just going to leave it here.
who made the money? We don't know. I mean, it's just printed, but I mean, when you send $21 billion over there for aid, we don't know where it went to. So it went to
I forgot to say hey to Little D. Hey, Little D. Good to see you. Thanks for being here.
somebody's pocket.
We have homeless people in our whole freaking country. Why do we have to help other people?
100% with you. 100% with you. We even help our homeless veterans, our homeless people, take care of them, feed our starving, our hungry children. But I'm just a dumb cop, so I
I wouldn't call you done. Yeah, she's being intelligent.
don't know. I'll be honest with you, man. It doesn't look like she's here. Do
That's what's worrying.
you think she was actually dead? I mean,
I didn't check. I just kind of assumed because she defecated on herself.
yeah. You pick her up in your arms or by her clothes? But I mean, which one? In your arms or by her clothes?
By her clothes.
Okay. Oh man, when I went in there, something stabbed in my eye. My eye's irritated now. Yeah. A little piece of bamboo leaf. I think I'm allergic to bamboo. And there's no chance you could have done a little further or back. Now 3549.
So,
Okay.
so originally the plan was I was going to go on that private road and don't know about that anymore.
Yes.
Also, I forgot to mention this part, and it's important. It's hard to hear, but it's important. So earlier in the day, while they're out looking, and then in the evening, the second time he takes them out, they take him out to drive around looking in this bamboo field. He continues to say, I just tossed her right there, just tossed her right there, just barely in, just tossed her. And I think that's important because I think the words that he chooses to use are indicative of his overall mindset. He tossed her because he was done with her. Disgusting piece of trash.
I understand. Because our main goal is to get her get her remains home, close it out. Yeah.
I mean, I think it might be possible somebody picked her up at the same time, like.
Who the fuck would pick her up? Stop playing with these people, you piece of shit. He just, ugh. Also, I think what he was doing, if I'm being 100% now that I've really thought about it and watched some of this stuff over again, I honestly think that a lot of the reasons why he hemmed and hawed and sent them on wild goose chases is because he wanted her body to be in that water a little bit longer. I think he thought that the water was going to wash away any and all the DNA, and it did not.
You know what I mean?
I mean, that's random person picks her up. That's gonna be why they come forward, stuff like that. I'm a hero, I found her, stuff like that, you know what I mean?
Unless they were not right.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, I've noticed there's quite a bit of tweakers out here. So.
Quite a bit.
Say,
I'm just sitting here racking my brain and thinking, it's like, Tanner's being completely honest with me, completely cooperative with me. He's been upfront and honest, and it just clicked to me. Is it Zero that's fucking with me? That's not wanting to tell me where she's at? Zero, tell me where she's at.
Where?
Bottom of a creek, which creek?
Oh, it's called.
Can you take me to it, Zero? Take me to it. Tanner trusts me, why can't you trust me? I'm giving you
Let me take her home. Let me take her home.
Come on. You want to get in the truck?
Woman.
All right, so at this point, Tanner has now switched personalities just like that to Zero, who is the person who actually killed Athena. And we're going to hear, it's a little bit difficult. The closed captions do the best that they can. They're on a slight delay, but we're going to hear a little bit about how Zero feels about Tanner. This confession is very, very reminiscent, if you remember back to Letitia Stauch's trial. And Dr. Dorothy Lewis is evaluating her. And she's finally talking to Maria Sanchez, okay? And then once Dorothy acknowledges Maria, the confession comes. So that is essentially what we're dealing with, okay? It's absolute, total, and complete BS. He does not have dissociative identity disorder. This is an absolute farce. He's just making crap up. That's it. That's all. I think basically he knows he's hosed. He's now trying to look for a potential defense later on down the road. Spoiler alert, they're not going to use any of this as a defense. They're not going to claim that he has dissociative identity disorder. All right, here we go. Yes, neat. It was really a brilliant move for him to start calling him Zero. In my opinion, Tanner thought this was his ticket out of trouble and got him talking. Absolutely, 100%. I'm sorry, you have the hiccups, Boo Sheet? Those are the worst, especially after you have them for like an extended period of time and they actually then become kind of painful. Hope you get better. I know you said you had dental work, but if you have like a couch and you can lean over the arm of the couch where your head is upside down and drink some water like that, it does help. It's a little tricky and you might spill, but I mean, it's just water. You'll just be wet. You can dry off.
114 until you get to 7:30. Take it right on 7:30. Running a little bit, just me the entire time.
I apologize, bro. I wasn't aware you were willing to talk to me.
I'm not gonna let you around for that.
Could you get out there and tell them to move, please? Excellent.
Hey, come on, let's out real quick. Weed out. Weed out.
So do I just keep going this way?
Night, Boo Sheet. Feel better.
This way? Left?
Yes.
Yeah, let me go get that.
All right, so he's finally given them directions. He's led them to where he actually put Athena's body, and they're going to find it, but they're not going to find it the way that he said they're going to find it. He has told them that when he put her in the creek that she had clothes on. That is a lie.
Sit there with it for a second. Okay.
Wait, yeah, stop right there. Hey, nobody go past that. Boy, nobody. Yeah, stop right
Sit there with it for a second. Okay.
Hold on. I don't know how I missed this, but here.
Go to your house and look. So,
Anyway, they find her. She's nude. Okay. All right. So now we're going to switch to day 3. All right. Give me just 1 second. Let me see. Hold on. Let me move this so I can see what I'm doing. All right. Right. Because we're on day 2 now, right? Yeah. All right. I got to find it first. Hold on. All right. We're going to go to 25:20. Okay. What happens on day 3 is that we get into the interview that happened. That it's not really an interview, it's more of a conversation that takes place outside of the Wise County jail whenever they get back from recovering Athena's body. Okay. So we're going to listen to a little bit of that. And then there's going to be a second, well, I guess technically it might be a third interrogation. Is it? I guess it would be the second interrogation. This interrogation took place on December 5th. Okay. And it was requested by Tanner.
And is it in the same room that we saw before yesterday?
Yes, sir, it is.
And during this time, did Tanner Horner tell you what the primary purpose of this interview was with you on December 7th?
The only purpose of that interview, which I quickly learned from speaking to him, was that he wanted to cut a deal.
Judge, can you go ahead and finish the video here?
Yes, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I misspoke. December 7th. So we're just going to finish up a little bit of this video, and then we're going to go to the December 7th.
get that? good. You pull my, sorry.
You were talking about, when it was Hannah talking earlier, about trying to break her neck. Did y'all really try and break her neck? It didn't work. Was it you trying to break her neck, or was it Tanner? Did you? Did you choke her from behind like you said earlier? Did she defecate on herself? Did she struggle? Did she try and claw you or anything like that? How's she trying to claw you? Trying to kick you? She actually did a kick on you? She's screaming on you?
Wasn't able to.
Wasn't able to? So about it end quick? So you talked about a sock being in the truck. Is that her sock? You don't remember where you tossed that at? You don't remember, just some random place, for sure?
Tanner tossed the sock.
Tanner tossed it. So it was Tanner tossed it when he threw up.
Hold on. Hey, zero. Very important. What items of her did you take to Tanner's house?
Did you take any of her clothes or anything to your house, to Tanner's house? You didn't take anything over there? She was wearing her clothes?
Oh no, I was throwing clothes all over the highway.
You were throwing clothes all over the highway? Do you think maybe Tanner took some home?
Are you saying you stripped her naked and throw her clothes out the window on the highway? Is that what you're saying?
That was funny.
You thought it was funny? Did you take all her clothes off of her? Shirt, pants, panties, everything?
I left the panties on.
Left the panties on?
So did Tanner take any of the clothes home, you think? You don't think so? You think Tanner
He's not stupid.
You think Tanner took anything home?
He's not stupid.
I think Tanner
He's a
had,
little bitch, but he's not stupid.
I think Tanner had stated to me earlier that he doesn't shit where he eats. Is that why?
That was me.
That was you? You don't shit where you eat? So you didn't take anything back to Tanner's house? Okay.
All right. So we're going to leave it there because it's just more lies, he's disgusting. Now he is going to, now we're going to get into the next video. They take him back to the cop shop and they, all right, let me go 120. All right, is this right? Hold on, let me make sure. Yeah. All right. So now this is the next interrogation. All right. This interrogation is on December 7th. After Tanner's already been arrested, he's being held at the Wise County Jail. He requested this interview. He requested to speak to cops. He had one purpose and one purpose only. We're going to hear what that purpose is, because after that, it's nothing but like me, I, all the dumb things that he's into that nobody gives a shit about, and that kind of thing. And I mean, it's on day 3, so you guys can, if you want to go back and watch it, you can in its totality. I just can't sit through it again, but here we go.
Those off here real quick, and then we're gonna go through some formalities, okay?
So did you get the ladies in yesterday or what?
Hang on just a second. Okay, it's, before we kick off into anything, our obviously you have constitutional rights, and you have been appointed attorney, so we're going to go through some of that. And first and foremost, the reason we're here is because you requested to speak to us. Is that correct? Yes. Okay. Who did you ask to speak to us?
The guard.
The guard. Do you remember the guard's name?
I couldn't tell who it was.
Okay.
Was it male or female?
Female.
Okay. So female jailer. You remember about what time that was?
9 o'clock to look at it.
Okay. That's understandable. So it says 9/11, around 9 o'clock p.m. last night, you requested to speak to an investigator again in reference to your case. And let me make you aware of your rights again, okay? Because you have constitutional rights regardless of the fact that you asked to speak to us. Yeah. Absolutely. That's really. So.
All right. Also on cross-examination, the defense is going to ask the pertinent questions about this. The fact of the matter is, at this point, Tanner has been appointed an attorney. Okay. And they're not supposed to talk to him. There's a little bit of a caveat there, right? They're not supposed to go and try to talk to him. They cannot initiate the conversation. But if Tanner asks to speak to them, that's different. So there's no subterfuge going on. They were not playing games. They didn't, by this point in the investigation, they pretty well have the majority of what they need against, what they need. But of course, they want to hear what he has to say. And I think likely what they really wanted to hear was the why. Not because there's never a justification. Nobody will ever understand the why. But I think human beings need to hear the why. And I'm a human. I would like to hear the why too. No matter how nonsensical and full of bullshittery it is, I always want to hear their why.
You have the right to raise a make a statement. He said that you may be issued trial. A oral written statement may be issued in court. You have the right to have a lawyer present to advise you prior to hearing the question to any police officer. If you can't afford an attorney, will be appointed to advise you prior to hearing the question. You have the right to terminate this interview anytime. You understand your rights? Yes, sir. Do you know who your attorney is?
I can't remember the name.
Okay, but you do have an attorney and you have consulted with him and now you're asking to speak to us, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Alright, and you do understand your rights and you waive those rights, correct?
I understand my rights.
Okay. You understand your rights and you know you have rights.
I don't think there was a specific, I think you're right. Amber said, I don't think there was a why. I think he saw an opportunity and he took it. I agree. I think that this was a crime of opportunity. But I think the reason investigators spoke to him again, even though they really didn't need to, is because I think they thought he was going to tell maybe the why. So I think that's why they spoke to him. But again, we just heard it. He said, you have an attorney, you've consulted with your attorney, and you've asked to speak with us. Is that correct? And he said, yes. So that's not going to work, Miss Defense Attorney, ma'am. But I understand why you had to do it. I get it. I just didn't like the tone you used to do it. You could have asked that question with 97% less stank on it. Know what I mean?
Counsel that you have the right to understand the anytime, right? Oh, sorry.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. I'm going to get offended easy.
Sorry, I have a lot of female jailers.
Okay, so name your date of birth.
August 8th.
Okay, perfect. All right, Tanner, so obviously you have some questions for us, right? What's going on today?
I've been thinking about this for literally hours and I don't know.
Yeah.
Give me a second.
Yeah, I think we'll end next year in a few days.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm absolutely sure.
He's here?
Yeah, it's going to help your lives.
Maybe, I guess. I just feel weird doing it inside.
It's okay. I've done it numerous times.
Is that my home, so.
Is that going to help your lives?
Okay. So what do you say about 4 hours?
Use that water bottle smash straight and use this to drink. No, you want to drink it.
Just leave a little bit in there, correct?
What do you think about Irish?
So I imagine you have basically a list of bullet points that you want to know from me, correct?
Yep, absolutely.
There's only one thing in this world that I want.
What's that?
I want a month. If you can't do that, I understand.
You don't want what?
I want a month.
A month of what?
Even if you want to put the ankle monitor on GPS monitors, check off where you, like, if you give me a month with my family so I can have Christmas with my son, I'll take everything.
I'll be completely honest with you, Tanner.
If that's beyond your power, I understand.
Yeah, no, it's something that I can't even easily think that's possible, but I don't know that for sure because I'm not the prosecutor. I'm not, the courts. I don't know that. So it's above my head. It's a question I'd have to ask.
I'd be willing, even if y'all set up cameras outside the house,
you know what, Tanner? Give me some good faith. We talked a bunch that night. You were completely honest with me. Completely honest with me. I mean, and I think that goes to trust because it's a two-way road. I think you trusted me and I trusted you to do the right thing and tell me the truth. And you did. Literally, I'll tell you right now that it's okay. Don't worry about that. That's my tip. Don't worry about it.
So,
We'll have some opinions on that. Listen to me. Small details, right? Remember, I kept telling you that night it's a small piece of a bigger picture, right? So you told me the truth, and you walked in. Obviously, in today's modern world and with our capabilities, we can make a lot of things. We can corroborate a lot of things, right? We can put all the pieces together and see if you're telling us the truth, and you are telling us the truth. We've literally, we've got everything nailed down. You go into the store and we get the cleaning materials, all that. We know all those things, right? So a lot of the what has been answered. I think I told you that from the beginning, right? What happened has been answered. What path you took has been answered. Where you put her has been answered, right? That's the biggest thing for me. I think I told you from day one. It's like, just let me bring her home, right? I think that was the statement I made to you, and that was my sole intent. I just wanted to bring her home. And we got her home now. But a lot of the why this happened hasn't been answered. And I know that you want some good faith and some things that are beyond my power to do, but I think you got to give me some more good faith on why this happened. Why did this happen?
well, the thing is, I'm willing to tell everything. Even if you have to make a list, I'll make video entries of every detail of everything. If you can somehow give me a month just to be with my family, that one last month, if you can talk to somebody, anything, that's all I want.
The audacity of this disgusting, foul, demon-ass mofo. All I want is a month with my son. You robbed Athena of every month, every Christmas with her family, every Christmas with her own, to have her own family when she's an adult someday. You robbed her of all of that. You robbed her of her graduation, driving a car, her first date, her first dance, going to college. You robbed the world of her potential, whatever she was going to bring to the world. And you want a month. You fat fuck rat bastard. I'm sorry, you guys. I can't do it. I can't listen to this again. This just went all over me again because of everything that he robbed Athena of, Athena's family of, and the world. Every time somebody takes a child's life, murders a child, they rob the world of that child's potential. Hey, Miss Upper Thigh, this dude's voice, why does it sound familiar? Well, probably because we've been, you know who he sounds like? I'm going to tell you exactly who he sounds like, and this is why he sounds familiar to you. He sounds like Stephen Stearns. That's who he sounds like. That's who he sounds like. That's what he wants. He wants a month with his son. Spoiler alert, they're going to go on and on and on, round and round in circles. He's not Ranger Espinoza is not in a position, like he said, he cannot make any deals. He cannot make any promises. None of that can happen. He's not in that position. Okay. He just can't do that. And even if he was in that, and okay, so he's not in that position. If you talk to somebody who is in that position, this asshole's not going to get an ankle monitor for a month to be with his son for Christmas. Get the F out of here. Absolute ridiculousness. Just absolutely ridiculous. Oh, I don't hear Charlie Day. Charlie Day has like there is a little grit to Charlie Day's voice, but mm-mm. There's like a California to it too. Charlie has like that upward inflection at the end. Yeah. To me, he sounds like Stephen Stearns. All right, so the next thing we're going to skip forward to, because before Bendy loses her mind completely, is at the 4-hour mark. Hold on. See how long this goes on? Nothing gets accomplished. He doesn't ever tell them anything more. He doesn't tell them the why. Nothing. All right. Now, hold on. Why did I do this? Hold on a second. I must have put this for some reason. Hold on. Let me see.
Particular case, and thank you for your work. Absolutely. Cross-examination.
Oh, yes. I wanted you guys to get a little cross-examination in.
Ranger Espinosa, while we're talking about the SD card, who removed and recovered the SD card from the van?
That would be the CSI group, which would be with ERT and the Wise County Sheriff's Office.
And who with Wise County Sheriff's Office removed the SD card?
I would have to check the chain of custody on who actually removed it and placed it into evidence.
So you don't know how many hands that went through before it was placed in evidence?
No, ma'am. Because I did personally not do it.
You had said that you had to go to North Carolina in order to have this card reviewed by the software engineers. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So who at Wise County, or I'll even make it a little broader, who attempted to play that SD card prior to you taking it to North Carolina?
Only, to my knowledge, when it was checked out of evidence, it was only Patrick McGuire with FBI and myself while speaking to the officer.
But at some point, you knew that someone had tried to play that card and were unable to.
I had no knowledge of that, no, ma'am.
And the reason you took it to North Carolina was because it was not able to be played on a regular reader.
That's correct.
I want to talk just a little bit about these interrogations. When,
All right, I'm going to slow her down so you can hear her at, regular speed, so you can get the full snark.
When Tanner was first arrested and was first taken to the Wise County Jail, you had the moments in the car where you were talking to him. But at that point, you had not read him his rights, had you?
No, ma'am, I had not.
So even though he was arrested by your brother and placed in handcuffs and put in the back of a car and being questioned about an offense, you did not see fit to read him his rights.
Correct. That falls under
And
the public safety exception, which is an exception to Miranda.
Objection, Your Honor, non-responsive.
One at a time. Your objection is sustained.
Ranger Espinosa, if you need to expound on something, then I'm sure the district attorney will ask any questions that need to be followed up on, okay? So right now, if you'll just answer only the questions that I'm asking.
Yes, ma'am.
So at that point, in fact, I think it wasn't until 16 minutes into that video did you read Tanner Horner's rights.
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Throughout these interrogations and throughout the videos that the jury has watched, Tanner asked several times about attorneys. Isn't that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
He asked how the attorney thing worked. You agree with me on that one?
Yes, ma'am.
At one point, Zero is saying we need to speak to an attorney. Would you agree with that one?
Yes, ma'am.
He asked about what happens if I get an attorney.
Yes, ma'am, I believe so.
And he also asked what happens when I get an attorney.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so then, and that was just in the first two interrogations. So now we get to December the 7th, and we have that fourth interrogation, the fourth video. And when you Mirandized Tanner, he told you that he has an attorney. Is that correct?
Correct.
But you didn't reach out and try to find out who that attorney was, did you?
No, ma'am.
Why would he do that? Why would he do that? He didn't ask to speak to Tanner Horner. Tanner Horner requested to speak to them, which they're allowed to do. They just can't go and speak to Tanner. They cannot, law enforcement cannot go and ask to speak to somebody who has representation. That doesn't stop the person who's represented from reaching out to law enforcement and asking to speak to them. And further, he clarified it by asking Tanner if he had consulted with his attorney and still wanted to speak with them. Fuck off, lady. Sorry, that's not professional at all.
And you didn't try to make any contact with that attorney.
No, ma'am.
You didn't even bother to find out who that attorney was.
I actually did find out who the attorney was after.
Afterwards, you found out who it was?
Yes,
And he did ask who the attorney was. And Tanner's like, I don't know, some lady.
ma'am.
And did you make any
Hold
attempt to
on, that
contact
little
that
nod.
attorney? Find out who that attorney was.
I actually did find out who the attorney was after.
Afterwards, you found out who it was?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you make any attempt to contact that attorney and tell him, hey, guess what? I just spent 2 hours with your client talking to him about his case.
No, ma'am, I did not.
You are one question away, lady, from getting a bless your heart, okay? One question.
Ranger Espinosa, you had testified earlier that Tanner had reached out to you on December the 6th of 2022. And this was about 4 days after his arrest, right?
I received the notification on December the 7th, but you're correct. The actual timestamp, I believe, was 9 p.m. on the 6th.
Were you aware that the night that he reached out to you, he had cut himself in his jail cell?
Yes, ma'am. I believe I asked him what that was on his arms.
All right, so that's pretty much the sum total of it. She goes on for a little bit longer, but she really did nothing to mitigate anything with her cross-examination. Now, it is true that Tanner did attempt to commit suicide while in police custody. And when he did that, he wrote letters. Monday, we will get to see those letters. He wrote letters to his family, Athena's family, law enforcement, and some type of clergyman. So something. See, lift my heathen ass, can't even say it, like a pastor or somebody from the church. Okay. All right. Now, the next timestamp we're going to go to is, now this one I just thought was an interesting exchange because we don't see this very often in trials. But we're going to go to the 4-hour. What did I write down? Hold on a second. Why did I write it down like this? Hold on a second. Let me see. It might be on day 5. Yeah, this one. It's on day 4. All right, so now we're going to go to the end of the day where, hold on a minute, 7:28. We start to see crime scene photos, okay? Now, these
Correct. Yeah, this would have been probably the first photo
Hold on.
that was taken because
These are photos that were taken outside and all the way through. There's a ton of them. They don't publish all of them. No, that was not. Absolutely not. I hit the microphone stand. No. No, we don't want the gong over here. The only time the only time a gong goes off over here at the ward is when we're playing Mortal Kombat. Okay. So we're gonna look at these. I'm gonna speed this up because the testimony isn't like the pictures speak for themselves. But what I want you to keep in mind is Tanner told Special Agent McGuire he had reservations about delivering that package to Athena's home because the mobile home was abandoned. Nobody was living in that. It's just on their property. Was run down. Okay? And we're also going to make some other discoveries, but I'm not going to. So this is the first.
First photo tries to incorporate a house number.
All right. We don't. Okay. Just wanted that to be explained a little. All right. So this shed here, this is where Tanner and his fiance, and at one point, their child, okay? The child no longer lives there. The child, I think, lives with her relatives or something else. But bottom line, the child doesn't live there. And we're talking about a toddler, okay? So this is his house. This is his shed. And he's scared. We don't need the closed captions for this part, all right? So this is the filth that he lives in. Skip forward a little to the next picture. As you can see, typical, no sheets on the bed, just absolute filth. Filth everywhere, more filth, more filth. It's a hoarder's dream. It's disgusting. I can't even look at it. Filth on top of filth, although there are Tide Pods for some reason. Somebody cleaned something at some point. Okay. Then, so there's another like shed, but that had like stuff in it or whatever. Now we're moving to the back. This is the area behind Tanner's, the shed where he lived, and kind of behind this other shed and out behind, and all of this is out behind the main house. Okay. All right. And you can see by the pictures, right, that it's nighttime. Remember when they're standing out in front of the Wise County Sheriff's Department? The reason they asked Tanner the question they asked is because they were communicating with this gentleman while this was all going on. Okay. So these are Athena's jeans. This is her sock. They found her underwear out there as well. Okay. Just trash. Just see, there's a little sock. Those are her panties, her undies. Those are her little jeans. And then inside the jeans was the second pair of socks. The only thing that I don't recall them identifying on this day, that's clothing that they collected from his house, from his shed, was her shirt. Where Athena's little shirt was, I don't know. All right, so that is all for this day. Now, we are going to go to day 4, and then you'll be all caught up for the whole week. All right, so we're going to start with, hold on. The same agent is still back on the stand. Okay. And he is testifying. And, oh, hold on. I messed up. Sorry. They went and they had done one one forensic or, crime scene already of the what they call the abduction truck. They'd already processed. They had already processed the abduction truck once. And then they go back and process that truck, the abduction truck, again.
From December 5th.
I'm going to have Mr. Berry zoom in a little bit on that.
Your Honor, may we approach real quick?
Yes.
She's always doing this. She's always trying to mess up the flow. Hold on. All right.
And what are we looking at here?
So these are tie-down straps that we found in the back of the van.
Oops. Shamina asks, his girlfriend and baby lived there too. Not at the time. His girlfriend did, not the baby. At the time of Athena's murder, the baby lived somewhere else with relatives of his girlfriend. The mom's family had him.
And they were
Had the baby.
laid like this for purposes of photograph.
And why were you looking at these tie-down straps?
After discussions with
I want to address what Neat said. Neat said, the whole discarding of the clothing is weird too. If he took it as a souvenir, he likely would have put it somewhere else and took better care of it. Psychologically, it doesn't make sense. I have some thoughts about it as well. And there does seem to be like a disconnect. It's the way that they were discarded too, not just where, right? Which would have been, right behind the shed where presumably his girlfriend could have come across it at any point. But it's the way they were discarded. And where's her shirt? Yeah, but Amber, there were a lot of other places that he could have discarded it between where he was and Love's that they likely would have never, that it would have been a needle in a haystack. Do you know what I mean? If he would have done what he said he did and just thrown it out the window while driving down the highway, but to have it all in one place like that. But where is her shirt? I wonder about that. I wonder if for whatever reason he intended to keep something as a trophy, right? But how do you explain keeping how do you explain keeping a girl's underwear? Especially a little girl's underwear. I mean, let's just call it what it is. How do you explain that? But a shirt might be something that you could explain. It's just, there is a bit of a disconnect, and it's probably going to be one of those questions that we don't get answered to. I don't think I don't know. We'll just keep talking. I don't want to keep going over it. All right. So here we go.
Wise County and some of the investigators, it was determined that.
Sustain. Rephrase your question.
Give me one more. State's Exhibit 123. And what are we looking at here?
So these are green bungee cords that were found in the van.
And did you have any additional information that would make you want to look for any of these types of items?
Yeah, as we started processing this van, we were told.
Officer, don't testify as to what other people told you. Objection sustained.
And did you process these green budgies and collect these?
Yes, we did.
All right. So what they don't want, and it's going to come in. We're going to get a reason why the bungee cord and the tie downs were collected. Okay. But it just can't come in through this evidence, through this witness. Okay. But there's a reason. Hi, Laura. They wanted this for a reason. Yes, I do agree with this. Amber says, I think the window thing is what he wished he would have done. But I think at a point, logic went out the window and it was pure adrenaline. I mean, it's possible. I don't remember them mentioning that. That being said, as I mentioned during the week, every day this week that we had trial, I had, except for Wednesday, I had the nuggie. And when she's here, if I'm like making her lunch or, sometimes I have to turn and sometimes she's talking to me. So sometimes I can't hear and I don't want her to hear. So there you go. I might have just missed it that they found the shirt. I just don't recall it, but there's a reason. There was a reason why they collected these bungee cords. Now, okay, hold on. Let me skip forward. $204. Bruh. Sorry, you guys. Oh my God. All right, we're just going to put it there. All right, now, this witness that we're going to listen to is she at one point was a Wise County crime scene investigator. And what had happened was she had been in an incident. They're going to get into it. And that's why I stopped it here, because her role in the whole investigation was really very limited. Essentially, the FBI is the one that photographed and collected all of the evidence, okay, in this case. What she did, aside from bagging Athena's hands and photographing that, what she did really was she was the person who the crime scene investigators with the FBI, when they would collect the evidence and bag the evidence, she's the one who took physical custody of the evidence and took it to the Wise County Sheriff's Department. That's what she was. She was the conduit between those two places, right? But yeah, then there's going to be a situation. We're going to hear about it. So let's just get into it and I'll explain it to you guys and then we'll talk about it.
Just simply carried it and put it in locket.
Yes.
Do you have any more contact with that evidence from the time at which you carried it and put it in locket?
No.
All right. What do you do next?
The next day is 1:10. We were advised to take the floor out of van number 1. There were some markings on the victim's face, so that were consistent with the patterns on the floor of the FedEx van.
Well, now you didn't conduct any investigation into any marks on the victim or anything like that, did you?
No.
You were instructed to go and simply take the floor bands out.
Yes.
And was that just you?
Yes, sir.
Who else was with you?
Sergeant Brett Yarrow.
And
Okay, so I left that. I wanted you guys to hear that part because there was another search done on the FedEx van, and like the floor mats were pulled up because Athena had marks on her face. And I wanted you guys to hear that. Because I think it's really important, especially because this is a capital murder case, I'm glad that the prosecution is doing it this way, but I think it's really important to know that they would have had Tanner's confession didn't actually help police, right? He mainly lied, right? And even if you have a confession, you still have to corroborate what the person is telling you. And granted, yes, he did lead her to her body, but he lied about that too. He lied about where it was for hours. Then finally he takes them to her body. Then he lied about whether she had clothing on or not. And by the way, I did go and search. I did it. I did AI mode because all it wanted to do was take me to like um videos, and also I don't want to watch a video. I want to actually hear the answer. So what the question I asked was Athena Strand's shirt ever found? So it says, while search results from April 2026 mention that several items of Athena Strand's clothing were found, they do not explicitly state that her shirt was recovered. At the capital murder trial of Tanner Horner, testimony revealed that several items of clothing were found scattered among trash behind a shed on Horner's property in West Fort Worth. And then they identified the specific clothes, which we just watched. Athena's body was discovered nude in a river at Bobo Crossing. Horner gave conflicting stories regarding the clothes. So that's where we're at. Exactly. So Amber said his confession doesn't corroborate anything except her location. They could have 100. Yes. All it did was help prove that he was full of crap. All he did was lead them to her body, which I think they would have still found. I don't know that they would have found it late Saturday or December 2nd like they did. I think they might have found it at first light December 3rd, but they would have found her eventually. I think they would have found her. And I don't mean eventually like days. I think they would have found her on the 3rd. I think that they didn't need his confession. And I think that it's really important that they put all this evidence in so that, later on down the line, it's not going to be like, oh, well, all they had was his confession. All right. So now we're going to go to the part I wanted you guys to see, which is 2:10:16. Okay, hold on. All right. Here we go.
Yes. In between the rest of that time, and I guess I ask you, I don't see you in uniform. You're no longer employed by the Wise County Sheriff's Office. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And so when was your last day at the Sheriff's Office?
In October of 23.
Okay. So how many months is that after you were done participating in this case?
7, 8.
7 to 8 months after this. Let me just ask you, were you fired from the SO, the
No.
Sheriff's Office?
No, sir.
Did you resign?
Yes.
What is your status with the Texas Commission on Law Enforcement?
I am no longer a basic peace officer.
Okay. And when you resigned from that, what was your designation when you resigned? Honorable or dishonorable?
Honorable.
Now, I'm going to ask you about this because I'm sure the defense will in a minute. At some point after this, did you have a little bump in your CSI career?
Yes.
And let's talk about that. Were you participating in an investigation into another murder committed in Wise County?
Yes.
When this incident occurred?
Yes.
And was that also another murder that was charged as a capital murder?
Yes.
When did that murder occur, if you remember?
In June 2023.
So how many months after you were participating in this case here?
A year and some days.
You said how many?
Oh, I'm sorry. It was in 22. It was, I don't know. I'm not counting.
Several months.
Several months.
And so what we're talking about here, and I'm just going to get into it here with you, was there an incident involving photographs that were taken in that investigation?
Yes.
And is that incident related to who took those photographs?
Yes.
And as far as your being, were you disciplined with regard to these photographs?
Yes.
So let's talk about that. What was the standing order when you went out on that scene with regard to who was supposed to be taking photographs?
I had an intern with me, and the intern was not supposed to take pictures.
Okay. And at that point in time, did you allow the intern to take pictures?
Yes.
Okay. And do you know how many pictures it was?
A handful.
And at that time, was that the standing order by the patrol captain at that time?
Yes.
So you didn't do what the patrol captain told you to do?
That's correct.
That's not good, is it?
No.
Now, the problem came up, you were asked later on if you had let that particular intern take those handful of photos. Is that correct?
Yes.
And what'd you tell him?
Told him no.
Okay. That's not true.
It's correct.
And that caused you some problems at the sheriff's office, didn't it?
Yes.
Are you proud of that you said something that wasn't true?
No.
But you did. Did you eventually tell your superiors that what you told them wasn't true at that time?
Yes.
And at that point in time, once you told them that it wasn't true, no longer get to be a CSI.
That's correct.
All right. So what had happened, you guys get it, right? Now, it messed it up for that case. Fortunately, in this case, like I said, her main function was to take into custody evidence that had been collected and also photographed by the FBI to the Wise County Sheriff's Department. She was merely a transporter. The one time she did anything CSI related was the bagging and photographing Athena's hands and then photographing her body. And she was not alone when she did that. Her supervisor, Brett Yarrow, was with her. So fortunately for this case, she didn't mess anything up. But what it ended up resulting in is she was no longer able to be a CSI. They put her back down to as a patrol officer, and she stayed however long she had to stay so that she could be honorably, so she could resign with honors. But now from now until ever, she's going to be on what's known as the Brady list. A Brady list is a record. I'm reading this because I wanted to, I wrote, what is the Brady list for cops? I just wanted something to be able to read to you guys because I'm tired. My brain is buffering and I wanted to put it out like as succinctly as possible. A Brady list is a record maintained by prosecutors or police departments containing the names of law enforcement officers with credibility issues, such as past misconduct. Okay, she got in trouble. That past misconduct, she got in trouble because she was given an order not to let the intern take the photographs. She allowed the intern to take the photographs. She defied a direct command. Dishonest behavior. That would be her getting on the stand and testifying that she herself took the pictures when she herself did not take all of the pictures. She let the intern take the pictures. We call that perjury. Or criminal records. Okay. These lists ensure prosecutors disclose potential impeachment evidence to the defense as mandated by law. Okay. So she's on the Brady list. Guess who they turn when they turn over all of the things, all of the evidence in the investigation, all the everything, right? They also turn over anybody who had anything to do with the case that is on a Brady list. This is the issue that the defense had with some of the FBI agents that came to testify on days 3 and 4. Okay. And the reason they had an issue with them is because they wanted to look at these agents' personnel records to see if they had done anything like this. And because they are employed by the federal government does not have to acquiesce to a state request. So they were like, well, we don't want them to testify. And the judge said, overruled. Okay. So, in the grand scheme of things, as it pertains to this case, Amber is correct. It does not matter as it pertains to this case. However, in the other capital case, it might have. And I don't know what the outcome of that was because they didn't actually name the case. They don't get into it. But this doesn't happen very often. So I just wanted to explain to you guys, because occasionally we will have a trial where we come across a witness that's on the Brady list, like the entire Canton Police Department. Just kidding. All right. Anyway, now the next little thing I want to show you guys is, I'm not sure why I picked this. So when I scroll, I'll remember because I didn't make any notes. I just wrote the timestamps down for you guys. Let's see. Oops, I skipped forward too much. 4:06:15. Okay. Close enough. This is Brett. He is the Wise County Sheriff's Department CID supervisor, crime scene division supervisor. He was the other lady who just testified. He is her supervisor, and he collected some things, and we're going to hear about that. Okay, here we go.
Did you document some of the evidence that was taken on the searches of the vans on December the 5th? Specifically the van that what we call the arrest vehicle with Texas license plate GCP 0468.
Yes, sir.
And may I approach your Honor?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just for some context, the officer is not wearing sunglasses. Amber and I have been affectionately referring to him as Officer Peepaw. Although now I'm thinking about it, Amber, and I'm thinking we might want to call him Papa. He looks more like a Papa. But Peepaw or Papa. He's not wearing sunglasses. Unfortunately, he was in a motorcycle accident and hit he had his retina detached, and so now he is sensitive to fluorescent lights. So they're glasses, but they're darker. Okay. I'm Amber, let me know what you guys also, all of you, not just for Amber, but I'm thinking that we should call him Officer Papa. This is the officer, Officer Papa, who will be coming back Monday with the letters. Okay? All right, here we go.
I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 183, 184, 185, 186, 187, 188, 189, 190, 191, 192, and 193. Do you recognize those photos?
Yes, sir, I do.
Have you looked at those prior to court today?
Yes, I did.
And are those all of the pictures that were taken at that time, or just a portion?
It's just a portion, sir.
Okay. And do these fairly and accurately represent items that you went through and took photographs of to document the items that were collected from the van on that day, or some of the items?
Yes.
From Mr. Horner's, the van he was driving?
Yes.
I will offer State's Exhibit number 183 through State's Exhibit 193 to the evidence.
Oh my, coffee and skeletons. I read this so wrong. So what others think, I mean, sorry to this man, but I'll call him whatever you want me to. I'm really thinking, see what others think. I'm thinking either Peepaw or I still like Papa. I think he looks like an Officer Papa. So yeah, he raced. Yeah, okay. Amber has his whole backstory. Not only does he ride motorcycles, he was a motorcycle racer before getting into law enforcement. He is so freaking cool. LOL. Chief, they call you Pappy, huh? Oh, Chief. All right. Here we go. Officer Papa. It can't be Paw because that's what the Nuggie calls, my hubs, so we can't call him. And I don't know how. I was never, remember you guys when she was itty bitty and I was like, I want to be called Grammy because it's cute. And then I'm also an award. Everybody wants a Grammy, right? Everybody wants to win a Grammy. And what does she say? Granny. She's the only person in the world I would like. That's the only way I would ever be called Granny is if my grandchild called me that. Also, the defense
193 inclusive heard it.
in an ordinate amount of
This
time.
is from the day that when was this taken here?
Yes, sir.
The defense takes an unrealistic, inordinate amount of time to flip through some photos. Like they don't know what they are. They're aware this has all been handled pre-trial.
The fit when the buckle swabs were taken?
That's correct.
Okay. And with regard to starting at 183, this is what is this that we're looking at in States 180?
I want you guys, first of all, Chief, thank you. I need to laugh too. Okay. I want you guys to understand what you're reading here. Okay? Homeboy had a Dragon Ball Z backpack with various contents. Okay? That's what we're looking at here. All right?
This is a evidence bag that was collected from within the van that he was arrested in, sir.
Does it have the date that it was originally collected?
Yes.
Okay. And then put in this bag and marked number 2, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, going on to 184, what are we looking at here?
That's going to be the backpack that was contained in that evidence bag, sir.
And the other items that we're going to see in a moment, are those items that were contained?
I want y'all to appreciate what we're looking at here. This is a literal child's backpack, okay? We're not talking about like you went to Hot Topic and you got an adult Dragon Ball Z backpack. Okay. No. This is literally, and it comes with a matching lunchbox. This is the kind of thing that Walmart sells at back to school for children. Now, listen, I try not to be judgy in these, with people's likes about stuff like this because I am 49 years old and my daughter has finally given permission for the Nuggie. She's old enough now to watch SpongeBob, not the new SpongeBob, make no mistake, the old SpongeBob from the early 1999 or 2000, that SpongeBob. The OG SpongeBob, okay? And let me just say this. I can still recite some lines from that. And yes, I can sing the SpongeBob theme song. Okay, because I watched it so much with my children. Okay. I also collect Star Wars things. Okay. That's from my childhood. So I try, but this is not that. Like, my Star Wars stuff is put away. I mean, it's on a shelf, it's displayed. I don't have a Star Wars purse for the love of Pete. This is something different.
Within that backpack, inside of the brown paper bag?
Yes.
Okay. So, does that have a distinctive design on it?
It does, sir.
And does it have an actual reference to, I think it's some type of a comic strip or something?
Dragon Balls. Yes, sir.
Dragon Ball Z, is that right?
Yep.
Okay.
Also, let's appreciate that he said Dragon Balls when it's Dragon Ball Z. That was a little bit of humor in the trial, accidental humor. Like I even whatever. I'm not, it's this. It's because he is my boys watched Dragon Ball Z. They did not watch Dragon Balls. They watched Dragon Ball Z, but they grew out of it.
With regard to what was inside of it, I see some gloves here. Are these your gloves?
No, sir, they're not.
And where were these gloves contained?
Inside the backpack.
Okay. And can you describe these gloves for me as far as texture, that sort of thing?
Yeah, so it looks like a cloth glove with a rubber texture on them, a no-slip texture.
Okay. So cloth on the back, but rubber on the fingers and the palm?
The palms, yes, sir.
Okay. And are those now on top of the backpack as we're looking at State's Exhibit number 186?
Yes.
Okay. And I will represent to you, these may have been...
Objection, Your Honor, that's leading.
Let me hear what he's going to say.
She does this all the time. Counselor, ma'am, you do this every time. Yes, you would like to get your objection in a timely manner, but you need to let him finish the question before you make the objection. The judge has said that to you at least 1,100 times. I'm sure by Tuesday of next week, we will be reaching 11 billion.
Go ahead, Mr. Green.
That these may not be in the exact same order that you took them in as they're being displayed. Okay.
Correct.
So with regard to 186, we're looking at what here?
That's when I first opened the backpack and I was starting to retrieve the objects from within the backpack.
Okay. So then I'm going to go into 187. What are we looking at here?
And up close of prescription meds that were located in the back.
He's on Prozac. That's what that is. Just so you know.
Back so that we could see the information.
I Googled
on the
it.
walls.
Prozac.
And, I'm going to zoom in. What is the, can you just say what the name is on State's Exhibit 187 as far as the type of controlled substance that it is?
I'm not a doctor, so my enunciation of this is probably going to be incorrect, but fluoxetine, I believe, sir, 20 milligram.
For purposes of the record, can you spell that, please?
Yes, it'll be FLUOXETINE.
And what was the prescription amount?
20 milligrams.
Kelly, I'm going to assume you're being facetious because it literally says right here who spells they are. Babe, Yeah. Yeah, he's on Prozac and Strattera.
Next, we have State's Exhibit 188, and is that a different bottle?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and can you spell the name of the controlled substance for purposes of the record?
Yes, sir. ATOMOXETINE HCl 25 milligrams.
Okay, thank you.
That's their Strattera.
Now, are these the same two bottles that were in the previous pictures?
Yes.
Okay. And does it give the prescription instructions as far as when to take those?
Yes.
And what does it say for the bottle for the fluoxetine?
To take one in the morning, sir.
Okay. And what does it say with the atomoxetine hydrochloride?
Take one capsule in the mouth in the morning, sir.
All right, thank you. Now,
Moving on to the matching coordinated lunchbox. I figured, okay. Oh, Kelly. Here we go. I forget that you're only 21.
this looks, is this the backpack or is it something different?
No, this is what I consider a soft-sided lunchbox that belongs to that same cartoon or video game family. It's a Dragon Ball's lunchbox.
And then going on to State's Exhibit number 191, what are we looking at here?
A cellophane wrapper containing marijuana.
False or speculation that has not been tested.
What? Okay, it is 2026. It is not 1950. It's not 1946, not 1956. It ain't even 1986, okay? They know what marijuana is. It's a cop. Cut it out, lady. Objection, it's not been tested. What else could it be? What looks like Mary Jane but ain't Mary Jane? What smells like Mary Jane and is kept in a cellophane wrapper? He's keeping it in the cellophane from around a pack of the cellophane from a cigarette pack. What are you talking about, lady? Ridiculous. Okay, let's not say it's marijuana. It's not been tested.
Sustained.
Move to strike.
Jury will disregard the last answer.
You know why it's not been tested? Because it's such a small amount that it's just a ticket now in Texas. Okay, they ain't hauling you to jail for it.
Does it? Can you tell me whether or not that is some type of plant substance?
It's a green leafy substance, sir.
All right, thank you. Now, with regard to State's Exhibit number 192, what are we looking at here?
The contents of that soft-sided lunchbox.
And can you describe what you see here?
Yeah, so you have a bottle of ibuprofen. It looks like you have a thumb drive. There is a vape pen, a marking pen. There's a Coastal Cloud strawberry cream. I'm guessing some sort of something for the vape pen. And then
that is speculation.
Sustained. That's fine. We'll go on to State's 193, and this is where were these items located?
Within the backpack.
Okay. And with regard to most of these things, may be self-explanatory, but can you tell me what this is?
It's a vape canister.
Now, after you documented the items that were taken during the search of the arrest vehicle, did you also take some action with regard to the shoes that the defendant was wearing on the date that he was arrested?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, they're going to have a big, huge moment about the shoes. We're just going to skip through it. All right. These are his shoes. Or get to there. The defense is arguing that it's the view of the shoes, the way the pictures. I don't know. It didn't make any sense to me, and quite frankly, I completely erased it from the annals of my brain. My memory banks have been wiped completely clean of that ridiculous argument.
Let me ask you this: the first several photographs that are taken here. Are those like close-up detail photographs or something different?
No, sir. These are overall photographs to show the condition of the shoes when I received them.
Okay, so State's Exhibit number 194, 195, I apologize, please. 196,
197, 198, 199, 200, 201. Looking here, beginning at 201, are these a little bit closer up?
Yes, these are mid-range.
Okay. And as we look at those, do you see, you talked about them being muddy, but what else do you see here that might be of evidentiary value?
How far up the mud goes on the shoe, sir.
Okay, so that's one thing. What about the different materials used on the shoes themselves?
Objection, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's go on to the next one, which is 202, I believe. And then I'm going to ask you if you notice anything on 202 other than mud.
Yes.
Describe what you're looking at.
The texture on the material, sir.
Okay. But in addition to this gray, lighter colored mud, do you see some type of a substance there on that shoe?
Your objection, leading.
Overruled.
It's a possibility that it's blood, sir.
And you see some paper down underneath that. What's the purpose of the paper that you have there?
It's a sterile area to work on while I'm putting the shoe down and doing the photographs.
All right. And then now we're going to look at the State's Exhibit number 203. What are we looking at here?
The texture on the bottom of the shoes and how much mud the shoes are actually holding.
And is there a distinctive tread pattern that you can see there?
Yes.
Can you just, as best you can for purposes of the record, can you describe what you're looking at?
Yeah, it's like a ongoing up and down, like elongated W pattern.
And is that, as we go through the next few photographs, number 20, I believe this is 204, 205, 206. Do those appear to have that same sort of tread pattern all the way from the toes down to the back of the shoe?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And going back to where we can see both shoes, although there's mud on top at this point, do both shoes have that same distinctive tread pattern?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Were you asked to take these specific photographs?
Yes.
Okay. And what was the purpose of that, in your understanding?
We were looking for different patterns to match the pattern on the victim's face.
Objection, Your Honor, that's hearsay.
Overruled. You can answer. You can say that again.
We were looking for a pattern to match the pattern on the little girl's face.
So once you had taken the photographs of the shoes, were you asked to go somewhere else and determine whether there were other patterns that you might be able to locate?
Yes.
And where was that?
I was looking for the patterns that would be encompassed inside the van.
All right. May I approach her? Yes, sir. Now I'm going to show you what has been marked as State's Exhibit number 207, 208, 209, 210, and 211. Do you recognize those?
Yes, sir.
Where did those photographs come from?
Within the van, sir.
And who took those photographs?
I took those photographs.
And do they fairly and accurately represent what we're seeing there?
Yes.
I will offer into evidence State's Exhibits number 207, 208, 209, 210, and 211.
No further objections, Your Honor.
All right, those are overruled. The previous objections are overruled, and State's Exhibits 207 through 211 are admitted.
May I publish those, Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
All right, hold on, let me see what he published it. Oh, here we go. So I understand why she objected on the basis of hearsay, because it could be considered hearsay, but for the fact that that kind of information, a mark, would have come likely from the medical examiner, right? In that case, it would be hearsay. However, he was present when the victim's body was photographed, when Athena's body was photographed. So therefore, he could visually see marks on her body, and therefore it would not be hearsay. Had she been paying better attention, she could have saved herself some trouble. That is all. Again, I would like to remind everybody in the chat that I possess no more schooling than a GED, and I am a certified medical biller and coder, or certified coder. Okay? That's all. She is a whole attorney, and I remembered that. And I haven't been this has not been my case for years. I just would like to point that out. That is all. Let the record reflect. Let me skip through her going through pictures. She knows exactly what they are.
Yes, sir. Okay. Going on to State's Exhibit 212, what are we looking at here?
The locker that I retrieved all of his clothing from, sir.
Okay. And then is this the locker?
Yes, sir.
All right. What are we looking at in State's Exhibit 214?
These are some of the contents of the locker.
State's Exhibit 215?
With Tanner's ID, sir.
Okay. And does it have a name on it?
Tanner Horner, sir.
Tanner L. Horner?
Tanner L. Horner, sir. Yes, sir.
And does it also have a photograph?
It does, sir.
And who does that photograph depict?
Tanner L. Horner, sir.
Is that the same person that you previously identified as the defendant?
Yes, sir, it is.
216, what are we looking at?
A pair of his hands.
Before we get into the picture, because there's going to be more picture of these underwear. All right. Brace yourselves. If you're eating, stop right now. It's gross. Hold on a second. It's disgusting. You don't want, just don't be eating. All right. And let's keep going. We're almost done, and I'm going to let you guys go.
Hands underwear, sir.
Okay. And 217, what are we looking at here?
We're looking at the inside of the underwear with a scale that I was using to show the seminal fluid that's in the front of the underwear.
Objection, Your Honor. That calls for speculation.
Sustained.
And Your Honor, may we approach?
Okay.
All right, so they're going to approach. What she's going to argue here in a second is that they came from the locker of items that are held at the jail when somebody is arrested, okay? Because then he had to wear the nice jail stripes, okay? So her argument is that basically that was taken the day of the arrest, and Athena was murdered, which was the second, and Athena was murdered on the 30th. We don't know if those were the same underwear. And I would like to say this, judging by the state of that nasty ass shed, I would wager again, I would wager that those are probably the exact same underwear. Okay. But that's her beef. All right. Now, the next thing we're going to look at really quickly here, because we don't need to keep looking at that, it's gross, is this. So whenever on the 2nd in the afternoon, right after he was detained and then subsequently arrested, and they were Ranger Espinosa was questioning him, he was drawing a map, and he was drawing the map in black, and then he wrote, "He's going to hurt me, please help." Okay, and on that whiteboard, and that is what they took a picture of. Then it's going to get it's going to be it's going to be cross-examination time, and it's going to get super petty. But then, hold on. It's going to be even pettier at the end of the day. And that's where we're going. All right, we're going to go right here. We're going to go back a little bit. All right.
Let's do the evidence review in the area that we're doing the evidence review, or the area that the evidence is housed.
In the area that we're doing the review, you still want to put down the butcher paper, don't you?
I do not, if it's already wrapped, ma'am.
And if it gets unwrapped, you want to have that evidence placed on butcher paper, don't you?
So it depends on the evidence review. To be honest with you, I have been through several of those. Not everybody opens evidence up. They want to look at markings. They want to look at seals. They want to look at chain of custody. So not every time. So.
All right, so the best practice, if that evidence is open, would be to place it on a...
We would put paper down, ma'am.
The other thing that's important is that the person handling the evidence has gloves on.
Yes, ma'am.
Because again, that evidence is still in play in a case, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
And it could be that there's other evidence that needs to be tested.
Okay.
And if you don't follow those procedures, there's a possibility that contamination could occur.
Yes, ma'am.
You have Your Honor?
Yes, ma'am.
Sergeant Yarrow, I'm going to let you look at what has been previously marked as defendant's exhibits 23 through 28.
Just really quickly before I forget, it is the defense's practice thus far that when they want to publish, they don't actually publish it to everybody. They only hand the pictures over to the jury.
Your Honor, I'd ask the defense to specify exactly when these photographs were taken and under the circumstances that they were taken.
I'm not going to order the defense to do anything. It's their cross-examination.
All right, so Sergeant Yarrow, you testified previously on direct that you had taken into custody a backpack that had Dragon Ball Z.
Yes, ma'am.
And defense exhibits number 21 through, or 23 through 28, does that appear to be the same backpack that you took into custody?
Yes, ma'am, it does.
Does it appear to have the same contents that you had taken?
Yes, ma'am.
We offer state or defense 23 through 28.
When were these taken? Your Honor, the evidence review in this case occurred March 29th.
Do you have an objection?
I object, yes. The proper predicate has not been laid as to when these photographs were taken and the circumstances that they were taken.
Objections are overruled. Defense exhibits 23 through 28 are admitted.
May I publish, Your Honor?
Yes.
So she's going to go over there and publish it to the jury. I have no
Your Honor,
idea.
in defense,
Hold
Sergeant
on. I have no idea what those pictures show, what her point was, or at all. You can't really tell from, maybe she'll publish them at when it's their case. I don't know. But
I keep calling you Your Honor. Sergeant Yarrow, with defense exhibits number 23 through 28, you didn't see any butcher paper down, did you?
No, ma'am, I did not.
So if any of those items that were on the table had to be retested, there was a possibility of contamination.
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
May I have 1 moment, Your Honor?
Yes, ma'am.
I have nothing further, Your Honor.
Redirect.
Investigator Yarrow, since
hold on. This is my favorite part, and I want to hear it at regular speed, and then I'm going to let you guys go. All right, you ready?
you're coming back on Monday anyway, will you check on the date? that the
Objection, Your
evidence-
Honor. Leaving.
Let me hear the question.
Would you please check on the date that the evidence review took place in this case?
Yes, sir.
And will you also check to see if there's ever been any request to retest any of this evidence?
Objection, Your Honor. Again, that's not a proper question at this time.
Overruled.
Will you do that?
Check. You can
Yes,
answer.
sir.
Thank you. No further questions.
Ms. Anderson,
I have nothing further.
may the witness be excused subject to any potential recall?
Yes, Your Honor, we intend to recall the first thing Monday.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. So her issue is that when they went to review the evidence, they didn't put butcher paper down, and so now if they ever wanted to retest the backpack, it could be contaminated. So the defense or the state said, just, hey, do me a favor, go check on that, because it wasn't done until, I think they didn't go view the evidence until like March. Obviously, you guys heard that of, I don't know when it was. I will find out. when it was. I'm kind of curious about that. He's going to be back on the stand. Detective Yara will be back on the stand first thing Monday morning, and he is going to have the answers to those questions. And he will also have the letters. Remember, Tanner attempted suicide in his cell, and he wrote 4 letters. Yes, Papa will be back. Detective Papa will be back on Monday morning, and he will be answering those 2 questions. Plus, he will be bringing with him the letters that Tanner wrote when he attempted suicide. There is a letter to law enforcement, the victim's family, his family, and a clergyman. So that is what is in store for us tomorrow morning. If I will be streaming the trial beginning at 9:45 a.m. Central Time. That's 10:45 a.m. Eastern Time, 7:45 a.m. Pacific, 8:45 a.m. Mountain. I feel like I said that wrong, but it's all a.m. I think I said PM on one of them. But anyway, I will be live tomorrow morning all day with the trial. Okay? Live. All right. So I want to thank everybody for being here. That is everything that you need to know for the first week of trial. The prosecutor said the next few weeks. I mean, they've said that before and it's been shorter. So who knows how long it is. We're definitely going to be here on Monday. So I'll see you guys all then. And thank you for being here tonight. You're all the way caught up and ready to go for tomorrow. If this is not a trial that you think you can have, sit through live, that's cool. At the end of the week, I will do another one of these lives recapping the previous week's testimony and stuff. So you don't have to sit through that either way. Anyway, thanks for being here tonight. You guys have a great rest of your evening, what's left of it on Sunday, and I will see you guys back here tomorrow morning. If you haven't done so, would you please do your girl a favor? Thumbs up, thumbs down. I leave it to your discretion. I feel like you guys are good judges. Either way, it's fine. And have a great rest of your night, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye. Oh, and if you think about it, would you hype if you're watching on replay, or even if you just want to come back and you're like, I wonder what happened or what she said, or you missed a part, and you come back, hype the live for me, would you? I'd appreciate it. All right, you guys take care, and I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Bye.